Hey, this ain't a drill. Only time I playing is on the field. And when I'm on the field, no, I got mad skills. And you know we about to eat this a fast meal. Y'all gotta pay for this heat like a gas bill. We keep on coming back, so yeah, they mad still. Everyone sick, make them pay me some bad bills. Red, white, and blue like Superman, so you know we eating at the Super Bowl. Kill the competition, set up the funeral. Josh Allen catching all the shots you go for. We callin' blitz. Ready to start, we ain't calling no quits. I'm the #1 draft pick. A lot of y'all talk, but I ain't hearing it. Only listen to Keyshawn and him. Talk about the Bills, dominating on the field. All our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill when we talk about the Bills, dominating on the field, and our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill.
What's going on? Welcome back to another live episode of the Post Podium Podcast, home of the all truth, no sodium takes. I am your co-host, Aramis.
Hello. This is 40 Keys.
I can't take vacation key right now. I can't. I can't take you
in the building.
Wait, you gotta say hello. This is AO producer in the building.
I'm not saying that.
Why not? Whatever.
My voice can't go that low anymore.
It can.
No, it can't.
Okay.
It's not the morning time.
Oh, you gotta wake up groggy. Okay.
Yeah, that's
okay.
what it is.
Yeah, you got the froggy when you wake up. I got you.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. I got you.
Look, thank you everybody for tuning in. We got a great show ahead of us here, and look, I think we're gonna go ahead and start this off how we usually start this off.
I got a preamble first.
You got a preamble?
I got a preamble.
Man, let's do it. Okay, what we got?
Get the rants out.
This is preamble. Hear me and hear me well. The Post Podium Podcast is all year round. We give you stuff all year. Give you stuff. We give you little kibbles and bits, little nibblets, everything you want in a 2-hour offering, right?
That's it.
We ain't just football. That's boring. Who does that? We're a family, and family comes together for all things. Good, bad, fun, whatever the case may be. So there's going to be a lot of what Tony Baker, I don't know if you guys know, one of my favorite comics, he has a show on all major platforms called Verbal Cardio. What Verbal Cardio is, he just talks about stuff for like an hour. You know, jokes, whatever the case, whatever pops in his head. There's no rubric, no form. He just talks. So guess what? For the next 10 shows, while the Bills are on a 5-week hiatus, you might get you some verbal cardio. So I'm telling you right now, if you don't want to chill with us and vibe out that smooth jazz, these 2 hours ain't for you. I'm telling you, we're gonna talk about football, but there's gonna be other stuff in there as well. And I don't want to hear about, hey, talk about football. No.
Ain't no football, damn it.
Don't you rush me. I'm going to get to it when I get to it.
Yeah.
Because we want to chill with you, give you something good to listen to for 2 hours. So I'm going to tell you, don't unsubscribe. Don't do that because we'll be back. But right now, if you don't want to hear anything besides football, this might not be the show for you.
Well said, bro. Well said. I appreciate that. Boo said, who we on today, guys?
Yours.
Matter of fact, yeah, we need to be because what's going on, man? You ain't showed up in the Discord chat.
Yeah, what's good with that?
Yeah, I already FH just got the invite link and
Sankey's in there.
Sankey. So both of them popped in after they got in. I mean, we still waiting on some folk. I don't get it. We just put out a big announcement in the Discord chat too about the Mafia Con coming up on July 19th. So I mean. Now's the time. Now is the time because I'm telling you, you're gonna get in there and we're gonna be so far past all of the new entries and stuff. You're gonna be fighting to catch up, and it's
what do we have here? What is this? Right. When do we talk about peanut butter jelly sandwiches?
Like some of the weirdness about Jameis Winston we was talking about.
Oh, that was a good conversation. I was ready for it. So I was just laying in bed doing research for the show, talking about Jameis. And you know, before we go any further, stop what you're doing. Everybody, stop what you're doing. As we learned in Discord today, I want to wish Nate a happy birthday.
Yeah.
Had to be in it to win it. Now I said, you don't know what you did now, because I'm definitely gonna call you out. Happy birthday, brother.
Yeah, man. Same. Happy birthday, man. Happy birthday for real. All right. So look, let's start off with this. How was your Father's Day, bro?
Oh, you know what? I struggle with that concept.
Really?
I struggle with Father's Day.
Because it should be every day?
No, it is to me. Because I mean, I don't have to tell you the story, but everybody knows I didn't really, have any interest in being a dad. And I'm not saying that to say Ken was quite plain. So, but I think I take that day to celebrate him and celebrate the man he made me. Celebrate, teaching me a lot of things. And I promised myself when I wrote this, I'm not going to read it because I'm not going to cry. But when I look at him, when I think of where I was before him and where I am now, it's
major difference.
It's a blessing. It's a blessing. It is a major difference, but it's a blessing. Like, you think about even today. It was funny because I was making him something to eat before I came here, and he said, normally he goes in his room, get some Roblox, and I don't see him again. So this time he's outside. Yesterday he disappeared. He didn't spend any time. As soon as I woke up, he was in there. I was fine. But today, I was making his food. He's hanging out. I'm like, what are you doing? Go play again like you always do. He's like, nah, Dad, it's okay. I said, okay. I just wanted to hang out with you. I said, okay. And he gave me a hug, and I came from the gym. So I'm like, sorry, man. He's like, it's all right, Dad. I had to get my hug in. I love you, Dad. I'm like,
wow.
Okay, move. Get out of the way.
Got you fighting demons, huh?
Because I can't hold it that long. Move. But things like that. We didn't do much. We sat on the couch and I'm on vacation now, for you guys that don't know. Which yesterday is usually my day of recouping and getting ready for the weekend. I was like, I do what I want because I ain't got nowhere to be.
Right.
So we watched some documentaries and did this, that, and third. We ate some subs. But no, it was a relaxing day, and I couldn't ask for more. I fell asleep on the who was it, the Chicago Sky game versus was it Connecticut? So it was good. It was really good. How about you?
It was. I mean, it was pretty good. I slept in, which is the second time this year I've been able to do that.
Yes, sir. What's sleeping in now?
I got up at like 8:30, 9 o'clock, somewhere around it. No, probably about 8 o'clock.
Kick rocks on that. That's not sleeping in, dude.
That's all I get. That's all I get. My body just pops up. I'm used to waking up at 4 a.m, so it'll be somewhere between 4 and 5. But anyway, so I woke up, went, cut my hair, and then I cut Junie's hair, and then came upstairs, got dressed, but I was able to do it at like a relaxed pace. It wasn't frantic. It wasn't, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Came here for service, and then after that we had to do the marriage podcast, and then after that I was able to go home, and Ray wanted to play Crash Team Racing.
Boom.
We ain't played Crash Team Racing in a minute, but I can't catch him no more, bro. I can't. My youngest boy, man, he's mastered Crash. So Crash Team Racing, I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. It's like Mario Kart, and basically I've always been like, the dominator of that sport in the house. And it's like a family thing. Like
we know.
For decades, I've been like, you can't touch daddy in this game. Don't even try. Right. But we all just play for fun. Well, Ray took it upon himself to start watching videos on YouTube about Crash Team Racing, and he started practicing on the hardest levels and doing all the time trials and playing online against other racers and stuff. It's to the point now where I can't touch the dude with a 12-foot pole. Like
you can't. Once he's gone, he's gone.
It's over. It's over. And the crazy part about it, he has this ability to watch his screen and everybody else's screen, know what everybody else's weapons are. He even knows the track that I usually take when I'm racing, how far wide I go on turns and all. Like, he's mastered all that. So when he lays traps, it's always in the perfect spot for me to mess up, because I'm so systematic. When I'm racing, I race as if I'm in a real race. I don't race like it's a video game. Right. You know what I'm saying? And he knows that. So he'd be placing stuff perfect. I'm like, dude, like I'd be screaming his name, right?
He like,
but he always coming for me because
I'd be so mad, man. I'd be so mad. But anyway, so we played a little bit of that. Then we went over to Damaris's house, and we hung out over there. And Ray engaged in quite possibly his best hide and seek performance to date.
It was all time.
He was typically he was notorious for being bad at it, but somehow being at Damaris's house, he became the greatest ever, right? Because he hid so well that the kids were starting to get worried. They came and told some of the adults about it. We can't find him. We don't know where he is. And they started looking for him. And they couldn't find him. So finally, after about a half an hour of hiding from everybody, He comes out of the front closet. You guys couldn't find me, blah, blah, blah. You know, he's sweating because it's hot. He was hiding in the closet.
That's why he came out, because he couldn't breathe anymore.
Right, it's probably what it was. But we was calling him. Allie was like, Ray, somebody stole your tablet. They're deleting all your games, like saying whatever we could to like get him to pop out.
I got it on cloud.
Yeah, he wasn't buying none of it. And so finally he popped out on everybody. And I mean, there was a sense of relief because we didn't know where he was. But
thought we lost him.
Right. Thought he wouldn't hit outside. Because we was in West Seneca. Like, I don't live out there. I don't know what it looked like. So anyway.
This man in Narnia, he up on the bus. He in Narnia now.
Right. What's going on, Bill? How you been, man?
Not Narnia.
Not
Narnia. Hold on. That's a different realm.
Well, yeah. That's how they got there. They went
to somebody right to the closet in here.
Right.
It's a whole different realm. Full of lions and animals and everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, go ahead.
Yeah. So, I mean, anyway, at like that, those were like the highlights, you know what I'm saying? And then we had some good food. And then to top it all off, like, so every year, the fathers and the mothers have this kind of war to see who's going to treat each other better on Mother's Day and Father's Day, right? Mm-hmm. So on Mother's Day, you know, we cooked for them, we, you know, served them, waited on them hand and foot, blah, 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 all that, right? On Father's, so today, or yesterday rather, same deal, you know, my wife made my plate and all that kind of stuff and just, you know, just pampered me a little bit. And they almost lost. They almost lost. They were about to lose until they gave all of the fathers a big old jug of Reese tea. That's what won it. That is what won it all right there.
They didn't even make it, but
no, they did. They made it that day. That because there was they had some extra or whatever that was in a pitcher, and it was still hot. Like when I got there, it was still hot, so I had to put mad ice in it. Mm-hmm. And so anyway. But yeah, long story short, that's how they won it. That's how they won it, man. It's a competition every year, but if you're gonna hand out Reese tea, that's an automatic dub right there. That's what it is.
No steak, no wings, just Reese tea.
Reese tea would kill it every time.
I guess so.
Yeah. What's going on, Billy D?
Yeah, I was gonna say, Billy D. Williams, Colt 45.
Yeah, you like that? You like that, T-Bone? You like that? You like that?
I was gonna say that's a read for today. I'm sorry. Yeah. That was it. That's all you getting.
It's the obvious thing.
Yeah.
Let's see. You got to give it to Tibonius Lex. He's in the building.
No doubt. My man Tibonius
Lex.
Just so everybody knows, because we got like 346 people watching, wonder why the hell I just did that.
Just because.
When you get a name like Tibonius Lex, I will ring that horn for you too.
We try to figure it out. We got Big Papa Bill. You know how he does it. Tom Staples. You know how they do it.
Yeah.
And Boo, I guess he's there too. No, joking. I'm just messing around, Boo. So
every time.
I forgot the best part of yesterday was I picked Ken up on Saturday night from my mom's house, right? Okay. And it's late. So I'm like, all right, I got this. I got in the car, gas light comes on. I'm like, whatever. She's only like 4 miles away.
Right.
I was at, I don't want to say, but I was like 16 on the dash. So now I'm doing math calculations in my head. I'm like, cool, I got it. I can still make it and get back. So I don't know what happened, but that number jumped fast in the mug.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, it only jumps fast when you ain't got no gas. So I get to my house. It's like 4 miles left on the dash. And I'm cheap. So I got to get Delta Sonic. I can't just go to the count. I got to get the Delta Sonic. So I get in the car yesterday and I'm like, okay, cool. 4 miles. I've done this before. Let's go. I hit the edge of, Ellicott Creek. I said, oh, snap. That train jumped down to 3. I ain't even know.
You didn't want to just go to that gas station right there on Niagara Falls Boulevard?
They ain't got the little the membership. I gotta get the membership.
Wow.
Yeah, no. So what I did was, so I hopped up Coleman, hit down, what is that? Down whatever that is by the golf dome up Parker. Sheridan. And now it says 2. No. Sheridan, I'd have died before then.
Right.
So I got to get Delta Sonic to you don't understand that unlimited membership, that gas, they give you like 20 cents off. I need that. So I get to Parker and I'm about to turn on whatever street that is, and it goes down to 1. I'm like, oh snap, okay, cool. I can do this. Mm-hmm. Got to the end of that street, the joint said 0. I said, well, at least I'm not gonna walk from here. I'm gonna ride this out. So I'm driving
on 0, bro.
I turned the AC off. I turned the radio off. I put my current economy mode.
Why you turn the radio off?
I don't know. I don't know. You gotta hear stuff.
People turn the radio off for the weirdest stuff, bro.
You gotta hear stuff. You're like,
You got a flat tire or something. Let me turn the radio off. Like that's gonna help you get air in the tire for some reason.
I gotta know when to put the hazard lights on because I'm going down SOS Mayday. I'm down. So I get to the corner of Niagara Falls Boulevard, right?
Yeah.
Red light at the double turn. I'm like, yo, I ain't gonna make this turn.
No,
I want to cruise. So I hit the turn, and the car sounded mad different. I'm like, it's about to be the end for me, but I can walk from here. At least I can walk. Man,
from Ellicott Creek.
No. From Niagara Falls, to turn in Niagara Falls Boulevard to turn in Delta Sinai, you can't do that U-turn no more.
Oh, that's right.
So I'm like, I'm confident. I'm like, yo, I got that. I can't. I'm like, oh no, it's a red light. I'm sitting here for minutes, and I'm like, that line is long, so they about to go. I gotta sit here. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God.
You hear that Jaws
right.
music?
I'm like, so the thing turns green. I'm like, Lord, just let me. I started reciting Bible verses. I'm like, no weapon formed against me shall prosper.
You know how bad this is right now, bro.
No,
like you doing all of this over some gas, dog.
And it's right there. I'm like, no weapons formed against me shall prosper. So I make the turn and I slid I slid right into the pump. That was it. Slid into the pump.
It cut off on you and you just
glid right to the pump.
Wow.
So look at my mom's like, I'm going to the store. You need me to get you anything for Father? I said, I almost need you to give me some gas. I almost need you to come get me.
Bro, why?
Because
you had so many chances.
Bro, I forgot I had to go get
You couldn't even just put $2 in the thing and get a little bit of gas to get you to the Delta Sonic.
I did that one time, and it didn't register.
What do you mean it didn't register?
I put $2 in the tank, and the thing still was yellow. It was like, you're about to run out of gas. Not yesterday, but before I said, never again. I got to get, Jesus took the wheel for sure. Because I said, I got to get to that pump at Niagara Falls Boulevard. I can't just go to any gas because, I'm the kind of guy, I'm like, okay, the price is what? All right, cool. I get on T when the Tops gas gets to like 67. I'm like, yo, you better get that Tops gas. What you doing? Did you get it yet? Did you get it? I'm about to get it. Did you get it? That's me. I'm too a flaw. I know. It's bad.
But, I mean, I go to the Speedway over on actually it's pretty close to Mac's house. So over on
yep.
Parker and Sheridan. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I go to that one every morning now. I used to go to the one on Koenig and Niagara Falls Boulevard.
Yeah. I could have did that.
But no.
Why would I do that? They had a 20 cents off.
Why would you take the easy way?
I needed 20 cents off. I needed it off.
Of course. I get it. I completely understand.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing I won't do is mix tiers of gas. But other than that, I could care less where I go for the gas. I could care less. If I need it, I need it. I'm not, because I've been in too many situations where I did run out of gas.
I've never ran out of gas before.
Bro,
I don't want to either.
That's why you were playing around with it like that. If you ever ran out of gas, you would never want to go through that ever again.
If T wasn't at the house and my mom could see this is a triangle, so I knew they were close. If I was like out there somewhere like downtown, I wouldn't do it. But for that, I'm like, I got to do it. I got to do it. And then when I got cocky after I went and got a car wash.
Ain't no way.
Just to pat myself on the back.
I was like, you deserve a car wash.
Of course.
Okay, we in here. Now my joint shiny with gas in it. That's what's up.
Unbelievable. T-Bone says, my Aunt Val loves Delta, so I do understand.
Mm-hmm.
Billy D said, I just fart in the tank, and then I have a mile to go.
That's about right.
Yo, that is some gangster stuff, bro.
That's
like, if your gas is that potent, bro, you need to sell it.
Yeah, and you need to go to a doctor, seek medical advice.
Here I am talking business, and you talking medical. Like, there's something wrong.
I'm worried about his gut, man.
I get it. You should be.
You talking about that? You talking about Reeves? He need that Rise. I heard that Rise got that gut health stuff in it, the enzyme, whatever.
The probiotics.
Yes, like I told y'all, this is a family show now. Not because we can't talk about certain things, but we ain't talking about football yet. I'm glad we still got 435. It'll come.
Yeah,
but we gonna do all. You gonna learn a lot about me and A in this process. If you ain't been here years past, you gonna learn us today, Jack.
Oh my God.
And we got Junie too. But before we go any further, I did want to share some football news. Stu Barber. I don't know if you heard about that. Stu Barber was a key figure for the Buffalo Bills history. He played between 61 and 69, earning 5 in AFL All-Star selections and contributing to 2 AFL championships, 64 and 65. After retiring, he served in various front office roles, including vice president. He passed away on the 11th at 85. a true Bills legend, both on and off the field. I guess he was in the front office as a scout and maybe even head scout assistant GM until '83. So yeah, so Stu Barber, rest in peace.
All right, yeah, rest in peace, my man. You know, it's weird when you hear about somebody passing at 85. You say, man, that's old. You know what I'm saying? But think about where we at now. Like, we 41 years old, and I don't feel that way anyway. Like somebody said, once you turn 40, everything hurts. Like, nah.
I just do diagnostic checks every morning.
You start looking around, making sure everything's where you left it.
You're like, I could do that today. Oh, no, I ain't doing that today. Not doing it today. See, I even went blurry at 41. Did you see that?
Oh, you saw that?
I just went blurry at 41.
Yeah, I saw that.
Just now?
Just now went blurry.
His whole thing just like.
Because you were talking, I was talking about diagnostic checks.
Yeah, I mean, it might have something to do with those.
You want to check it out?
No. We should be good. I mean, the autofocus is on.
If it does that every once in a while, it's okay.
Yeah, but yeah. So anyway, the reason I'm saying that is 85 is. There are people around the world. I mean, more specifically in Europe, but you've heard of blue zones, right?
Mm-hmm.
So these blue zones are where people are like running their own businesses still. They'll make guitars or ukuleles, or they'll cook and make certain dishes or whatever that they sell or whatever. Like they still running businesses at that age and older, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in these blue zones, a lot of the areas that they live in are like rough terrain. They'll live in the mountains, or they'll live in in like wooded areas. You know what I'm saying? Down in Mexico, there's a blue zone down there. So a lot of these places, what you see is, because they have to go through this hardship of travel, and they don't have a lot of the amenities that we have here, and keep usually into that older age, they end up living a lot longer.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And it just kind of makes you wonder, like, with all of the technology and everything that we have at our fingertips, like, is it actually bringing us more health, or is it because these people have way less and they're living way longer? You know what I'm saying? But it's just
it's true. You think about it. You got to think about. I mean, I don't want to go dark, but I will. You look at sharecroppers, people like that from the backwoods southern states. They didn't eat clean. They ate pork. They ate salt and this and all these seasonings, all this fat back. But they live in 80, 90, 90 and 100 years old. And Big Papa says that grandma's 90 and still cooks, cleans, and drives. Yeah, I got an uncle that's 97, does the same thing. He'll still curse you out if he has to. But and at 40, and that's the thing. When I think about 85, I don't want to hear anybody say, "Oh, they took him too soon, Lord. He wasn't ready." Well, maybe he wasn't ready, but 85, everybody talks about how that's old. I always say to people, it's a blessing to get there. When you get to be my age, who says I'm going to get to be your age? That's not promised to me, and people think I'm joking. I'm like, I'm not joking. We're just think about who you grew up with as a kid. How many of them are not here anymore? So I don't want to be 40. I don't want to be 41. I don't want to be 42 or whatever. Man, it's a blessing, because there's people that they wouldn't die to be 41 because they did,
Yeah.
But I think every year is a new adventure. So I wear it happily. How you feel? I feel alive. I feel great, even though my knee doesn't work half the time, even though my back hurts sometimes. I'm good.
Right.
I'm good.
My man T-Bone said that's why I'm learning about homesteading and getting my own land once I save enough money to set it up. Yeah. That's how you do it. That's how you do it, man. You set yourself up so that you have to So I guess what I'm getting to is this, and I'm sure this is common amongst everybody that is up there in age. Yeah.
Oh, you done messed up now. Yep. Happy birthday.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. But so wait. Nate and Sonny Son Brian got the same birthday.
Same birthday.
Wow, that's pretty cool. That's
yes,
pretty cool.
Is.
I bet y'all didn't know that.
I bet they didn't know. And y'all about the same age too.
Yeah, that's right. Because Nate is 48 now. Yep. Wow. Check that out. Billy D said my client I train is 100.
How much they pushing up?
Probably more than we could.
Oh yeah.
The way Billy D be talking about how he train people.
Look at the picture.
Roy said Methuselah was 969. What the? He was eating.
Dinosaur meat.
Probably. But yeah, so I guess what I was trying to get to is usually people at that age they live with a certain level of purpose where it's not just retirement just for the sake of retirement and doing nothing, right? It means studies will tell you once you start living without purpose, you start dying at a cellular level. It's a mental thing that your body catches on to when you're not working with a purpose or you're not working towards a goal at any age. Once you stop employing yourself in a sense, you start to die. You know, we're not meant to operate that way. It's funny how this idea of retirement has become, I just want to go lay on the beach and do nothing. Like, that's just a vacation. Just go take a vacation and then figure out what you want to do with the rest of your life.
That's what I'm about to do. I'm a vacation for the rest of my life. When I get out this rat race, I'm vacationing for the rest of my days. I'm going to be the laziest of lazy. Key, what you doing? Absolutely nothing.
You know what I want to be? I want to be an investor, bro. I want to be an investor. That, to me, that's the highest level of business you can get to. Think about it.
That's the problem. I don't want to think when I get out of this rat race. I want to just be like,
but it's not work.
No, I know.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I already invest, not in tangible things yet. I'm already investing, but you know,
I want to be investing in like.
Oh, I'm gonna have properties and stuff like that. But no. What was it? I was thinking earlier. I was in the gym when we were doing the Discord, and I just thought about, I was on the machine. Yeah, I use machines. I don't care. I'm 41. I ain't got nothing to prove. So I was on. It was a weight loaded machine. Right. Somebody, he uses machines. All right, let's go. But no, so I'm doing the bench press machine because it's a day off. I'm trying to just be whatever. I ain't care. So I'm like, all right, cool. And I get up, I put my phone. The international rule for this is my machine. Put your phone on something. So that
is it?
Yeah, you put something on that. You put a water bottle, phone, whatever you got there.
Oh, wow.
So people know somebody's using it.
Yeah.
This guy comes over. He's like, "Oh, were you about to use it?" I'm like,
"Do you see?
You see the location of the phone?
Right? Do
you see where I put it?" He's like, "Well," I said, "Do you want the machine I just got? I'll wipe it off." He's like, "No, I was here for this one." I'm like, "Bet." I saw what weight was on there. I said, "You know what? I'm not taking all this off for this dude. Do your own thing." I didn't even load it up yet. It had, I don't know, it had 45, 35, and a 25 on each side, whatever. And it was an incline press, like unilateral, whatever. And I'm like, all right, do your thing. I'm out of here. But I saw an incline bench. I said, you know what? I didn't want to do this because it's going to require actual work, but I'm going to incline dumbbells. So I said, all right, let me start with these 75. So I'm going to start with these. I pushed out 20 on the set. Then I said, you know what? This is how you know you lazy. I looked on the rack. I said, all right, what's on the top rack? Not the bottom rack. I want the top rack because I don't feel like bending over to pick stuff up. So I'm going to say, they're going to 95. Bet I got them. Get those 95s up. Popped them up. Finished the set. And I said, I'm good. I said, you know what? Man, we were just talking this morning. And we were talking. And I said, I'm being soft. I'm being real soft. I said, I got it. So what would Jameis do? What would he say to me?
Can we wait. There's a topic we were supposed to
Jameis, he entered my brain. Yo.
Just do this every time. Just eat them dubs. Wait. Hold on.
Why didn't he eat the dub? This is what happened. Yep, true.
Stop. Can we just? Not?
But no, what his voice said to me in my head.
What
did it say?
His voice said, "Oh, and ain't nothing but iron and rubber, brother. Your body's made of bones, tendons, all sorts of arteries, ligaments, and whatever else. You can lift it, my brother." And that's what I heard him say. So I said, you know what? You're right.
Yeah.
Let me get them 110s up there.
Yeah.
Let me grab them 110s. And I did it just one time. No, I couldn't stop there. Jameis said, no, brother, you don't stop there.
It's too much.
I did it 2 times. He said, no, brother, the day is not done. I hit it 4 times. He said, yo, brother, you got one more in you. Push it up. And I said, you're right, Jameis. So I popped that thing up. And people applauded. They looked at me and they said, bravo, sir. Bravo.
You did good there.
I said, in the name of Jameis.
Oh, God.
That's what I said. Ironically, that's what I said. Oh, God.
This is painful.
Painful?
This is
painful. No. Hold on.
This is hard to listen to. This is the hardest thing I've ever had to listen to.
Chat. I'm gonna keep it on. I'm gonna keep it on the host radar because guess what he said while we were driving the car. Key, I told you this.
What did I say?
Oh,
what did I say?
Oh,
that was so epic.
Timon, yes.
Oh, it was epic because notice how he discreets of us, me and Key, throwing up the thumbs and eating them and speak about famous Jameis. He goes out of his way and says, "Oh, you guys got the W." And he threw the dubs towards his wife, and he goes, and he starts eating them.
I forgot you was in the car.
Oh no, I was in the car.
I forgot you was in the car.
See how it happens when you don't want it to? You just
no. All I said was.
Repeat yourself.
No. You got to understand. Caitlin thought they lost. Caitlin thought they lost because there was some some issues that they had to persevere through, right? So she left thinking they lost, and I was telling her like, no, look at this big old jug of Reese's tea, y'all won. Right.
Okay.
And so I started saying, like, just enjoy the dub. Like, don't stop criticizing yourself. That is like you got the dub. Eat the dub.
And you said, I wonder what this tastes like. Yeah.
He ate it up. He ate it up. Nope, you ate it up.
That's not how it happens.
You said that's not how it's called.
I saw it. Yo, why he denying it, Key?
Let me be very clear about this.
Bro, Key, the fact that I went to the group chat and said something was like insanely diabolical, bro.
You done? You got it out of your system?
Chat.
Let me be clear about this. There is no aspect of Jameis Winston that infiltrates my thought of inspiration, of appreciation, of gratitude for any reason. I do not think he is that great of a speaker. I do not think he's that great of a quarterback.
Oh, he's an orator. He is an orator.
No,
he's an orator.
He is not. No, no. Like, I mean, we went through a whole spiel in our Discord chat about all the different charges that he's had in his life and how he's got a ghostwriter and all this stuff. Like, I did my best to just tear him to shreds.
You did.
But guess what?
I had time today though.
Right.
You were like, when is he gonna put his phone down? Never.
The key. I'm trying to drive and I'm pissed off because you keep saying stuff and I want to respond to it, but I can't because I keep getting orders and like people keep talking to me. Shut up! I'm trying to think about what I'm finna say to this dude. It was driving me nuts. Like it's to the point now where I just
threw them dubs up and ate them.
He threw the dubs up.
I've officially put Jameis Winston on the Joey Porter list. He's on that list with Joey Porter and Levi Wallace. He is now on the most hated list of people that Keyshawn likes. That's what the Joey Porter list is.
Because at the end of the day, them dubs been throw up.
What did I say? What did I say in the tape? I said the greatest speakers of all time: Ray Lewis, FDR. Who else I say? Then I said,
I'm not helping you.
Who's the third person I said?
I'm not helping you.
It wasn't Jameis.
I don't know.
Key.
It's in the Discord chat.
Maybe it was Obama. I don't know, but
quite possibly.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's right.
But no. Go ahead. Do you think? What you got? What you got?
I don't know. I lost my train of thought after you brought up Jameis.
I got more than so. Hassan Reddick is doing Hassan Reddick-ish now. You see this?
Who?
Hassan Reddick.
What about him?
He signed a 1-year deal for $14 million, $12 million guaranteed with Tampa Bay this year. And he's not reporting the OTAs.
What is wrong with this dude? He just don't want to play football?
I have no idea. But then it doubles down. Taj Bowl says, I'm sure we'll see him one of these days. What? What does that mean?
That means we're going to find him until he comes in, period.
Right. Well, Stephon Diggs would have been on my list as well. Roy Collins, I'm sorry, would have Jameis because our number 2 next season. If he comes our number 2 quarterback.
Roy, I'm out of the game, baby. I'm out of the game.
This will be just my show at that point. Will give up.
Yeah. You want to see me step down? That's how it happens right there.
It'd be McDermott, who? Every day, Jameis. Yep. Boo, there's your answer. Who we on? Who's but we on today? Jameis. He didn't even do nothing. He just walked into the facility. Jameis.
Every day. That's right. That's how it'll be. So, I mean, if you think I talk negative about the Bills now, don't let them sign Jameis Winston. There will never be another positive show on this set. No.
Sign that, brother.
Steve-O says, ironically, I'd rather have famous Jameis as a QB2 than Mitchie Biscuits Trubisky.
Yes! Yes! Chat, I love it. Throw them dubs. eat him up.
Yo, this dude's going.
Eat them dubs. Look at his face.
I don't know what I did to deserve this.
Yo, he is live today. I love it.
I really don't understand what's happening right now.
He is live. Oh man, this
anyways,
show.
Steve Noble says, I love to hear Xavier Legette speak. Good old Southern boy.
Oh yeah. Oh, Southerners they come.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a while.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, what can we say?
Anything but Jameis Winston.
Okay. Well, he has a translator. You know.
Does he really?
Yeah. Thielen's his translator.
Is he really?
Yeah. They said
I need to see this.
They said no. Thielen was on the interview. He said in the huddle, sometimes Bryce Young doesn't understand what he's saying, so he asked him what he said.
What?
Yeah.
Hey man. I'm over there saying like Boomhauer. He's just
I'm going coon, boy. I'm gonna cook up that coon there. Like what? That raccoon? I cooked that on up. Boy. I'm like, okay, you know.
Oh, they got the gator in the back. Yeah,
this dude,
we gonna get that gator.
I mean, he would have been great in Buffalo. I don't know about no wings, but I know about this coon, no.
Joey Hatch, welcome to the show, says, let's talk about the last few years at the Buffalo Bills on opening day, like when they beat the hell out of the Rams, who were Super Bowl champs the year before. That did happen.
He saw your thumbnail. That's what he wants to talk about. He saw that thumbnail.
Yeah. And that's cool. I think we're far enough into the show. But so what that was the year. Yeah, that was the year. That was the first year we got Daquan Jones, wasn't it?
I think so. I believe
no, because that was 2020.
Daquan Jones is near what, 3 years, 4 years? So yeah,
that was the same year I was saying. Who are we?
Before we got that was the year we got Steph. Was that Steph Diggs' first year?
No, that was 2020. It had to be. It had to be 2020.
What?
The year we beat the Rams.
Well, that was Steph Diggs' first year.
So then, so that was Diggs' first year. Yeah. So so that year, did I? No, I didn't. I knew we would be good. I knew we would be good. I didn't expect us to be that good that fast.
Yeah, Papa said we got Von and Daquan the same year, 2022. So good.
There you go.
Perfect.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, look, I guess that's kind of where I was going with the thumbnail and one of the things that I wanted to talk about today, which is week one expectations, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the question that I'm really trying to get to is what is the definition of week one success against the Ravens? You know what I mean? Because it's easy to say, well, if we win the game, then it's a success. That's what the Bills would want you to just, you know, chew on that and leave it alone. You know, never mind what it looks like on the way to the win, just the fact that they got the win and then just never talk about it again.
Yeah,
right?
That's impossible to do, especially this year. It's impossible.
Why is it?
Because it's the Ravens. You got the Ravens and Bills. Those are the two teams everybody talks about. It doesn't matter what media you're talking about, what market you're in. Those are the two teams that if you're a Bills fan, you're not supposed to like the Ravens. If you're a Ravens fan, you don't like the Bills. Or it might just boil down to Lamar versus Josh. You don't like him or you don't like him. So this year, to me, to answer your question, if you're defining success, it's not even a win. You know, for me, it's not even a win because they have Derrick Henry. They're going to have Zay Flowers. They're going to have Lamar Jackson. They're going to have a lot of Mark Andrews trying to have his vindication.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm looking for out of week one, because we know where we're going to end up in the playoffs, and that's where the season now for the Bills starts. But week one for me is a barometer for where our defense is, because last year our defense couldn't catch a cold. They couldn't stop anything. But then when you look at what they're going up against this year in a nice environment where the ground should be dry, should be favorable conditions for them to do whatever they want, can you hang with them? Can you stop them? Because last year you let them put up 35 points.
Mm-hmm.
And this year it's about we fix this, that, and the third. And it's not about the Chiefs, it's about the Ravens. Even though it's not the team to beat in the playoffs per se. You still gotta measure up, and you know, for people that matter, people that care about it, you're gonna say we're better than you. You know, whether it's our fans talking to their fans, trust me, they have the same idea. Somebody in the Baltimore Ravens market has the same thumbnail as you do, pretty much, because I'm telling you, they have to, because it's the same. This is how you know you have a rivalry going, and this is what Josh did. This is what Lamar did. This is what the MVPs, whoever you say deserved it, whoever you say won it, whatever the case may be, this is what this bred. It bred this kind of conversation. Nobody, like I said, we were talking about Mahomes and Burrow and Lamar and Josh, and nobody cares about the other two.
Yeah.
Everybody says Josh and Lamar.
But do you think that can only exist because the rivalry with the Chiefs has been what it was, or what it's been, where, we beat them in the regular season, but we've never touched you know what I mean? Like, I guess it's a weird dynamic because the Ravens have they have a winning record against us in the regular season, but in the postseason they've never beat us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you see, I guess, in a sense, what's the difference? How do the rivalries differ in a sense? Because to me, the Chiefs rivalry isn't even really a rivalry.
No, it's not a rivalry. I mean, I think that's just anger. That's just, we want vengeance. That's
we just hate them.
And the thing is,
we hated the Patriots.
Right. It's not, and the thing about that whole shindig, I was call it, because it's not it's really not vengeance. It's just you screwing yourself. Because you think about back in the early 90s when the Bills played the Steelers, the Steel Curtain, and those guys were like just vicious. You had what was it, Searcy, and you got Greg Lloyd and Kevin Green and Rod Woods and all those guys, and they're like injuring people. I mean, they hitting people to make you feel it.
Yeah.
And I remember being a kid, at that time I was 8, 9, 10 years old, and I had never seen this much violence before. And I remember, what was it? Was it BB that got knocked and bounced off his head when he caught the ball and flipped the iconic?
Oh yeah, you got flipped.
Yeah. And I'm sitting here like, what the hell did I just see? Is he dead? And like, I said, our team, we're getting destroyed.
Yeah.
So, that was one thing, but this right here is our own inbred stupidity, because you build a team to do a certain thing and then you don't execute. If you execute, you win the game. 13 seconds. Last year, you execute, you win the game. Push.
Yep.
They didn't beat us both times. We beat ourselves. So the rivalry in itself, people are going to say that's more important because we can't get over the hump, but the hump is ourselves. That was the Bengals, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever it was.
So I guess this would be the major issue for me in either of these rivalries, is because I've heard a lot of people talk about what the players didn't do on the field, right? And my response to that has always been, and always will continue to be, what position are these players being put in when it comes to those situations, right? Because I immediately think back to every single drought coach that we've had that's gone against the New England Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
And every single time that we play that team, it's always a mind game inside the mind game of the game that gets us. It's a coaching decision that, a time where we should go for it because we've got momentum and they're on their heels, and we choose to punt it because we're scared to, make a bad play and we just play it safe. Or we choose to, like Sean McDermott last year, he just makes this decision to take the safest possible play and go QB sneak 6 times, even though it didn't work more than once. Again, these are all examples of situations that deal with coaching, but those coaching decisions come from a place of fear, almost, of failure. You know what I mean? I'm afraid to fail, so I don't even want to take the chance. I'd rather be safe and take the safe route, right? Mm-hmm. And what we see happen to the Bills is these teams being super aggressive and taking chances and doing whatever it takes to beat us. And most times now with this iteration of the Bills under Sean McDermott, it's been a situation where the Bills see themselves smaller than they really are. Yeah. Teams respect the hell out of us, our offense and our defense, and we act as if we're supposed to just bottle it up, keep it under control, and don't let anything rock the bottle because it might fall off the table.
Yeah, I think that's what I was getting at on what is it? Today's Monday. On Friday, when we were talking about the culture of Buffalo. It's innovative. It's new. They want to get out there and pop. That's what the city is about. We're waiting for the breakout. You don't want to suppress that. And to your, like you just said, it's us. The opportunities is to throw a punch, whether it works or not. It's on you, because even if you fail, you hit them in the mouth. They might not fall down, but you hit them in the mouth. And I think that's important for the Bills to transition to on the next level. When people say, I want McDermott going this and third, see, that's the only reason I would say I'm on your side, because I don't think he's going to do it. He hasn't done anything in his past that I say, I can't stand this guy, I can't win with this dude, except hold him down.
Right.
And it's just like Buffalo is behind you now.
Mm-hmm.
If you lose a game because you did something crazy, you did a cornerback blitz at a weird time, and you got burned on it, Buffalo's going to back you. They're like, you know what? Don't do it again, but I like it. I like it because it's exciting.
Right.
And it was what if it would have worked? What would a game-changing moment like that have done for us? And sometimes it will work. So I think that's what you have to get out when you're McDermott. You can't think about what happens. You can't think about the negative all the time.
Right.
Sometimes you got like you love to say, you got to dream big. You got to think the ideas of grandeur. Yo, I could be hoisted up on somebody's shoulders and carried out of this place if this thing does it. And I need him to do that. I need him to see that. I really do.
So one of the other things that I think this is kind of bled over into is this comparison between Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, right? And one of the draws of week one and the anticipation of it is we get to see these two quarterbacks go at it again. And every time they meet, it's always a scrap. And it's always, people in Buffalo think Josh Allen is so far and above and beyond Lamar Jackson. And people in Baltimore swear up and down there, Josh Allen is a bum compared to Lamar Jackson, right? And I mean, you can choose whatever road you want to travel on as far as your argument and what you're basing it on, but at the end of the day, so much of it is relative, right? But I think there's a very small similarity between the two quarterbacks that should, in my opinion, make them brothers more than opponents, so to speak, right? And that is the positions that their coaches have put them in. Right? When you look at Lamar Jackson and you look at the start of his career, he started off with a guy that we know very well.
Yeah.
In Greg Roman.
Yep.
And Greg Roman.
Greg Roman.
Exactly. Greg Roman is notorious for not taking shots and not throwing the ball and not run. He can call a complete offense, but let's face it, he loves to run the ball. Very old school. I really truly believe that if he had some kind of nuance that made him a dominant offensive coordinator, Sean would hire him and never fire him, because that's essentially what he's looking for, is that type of offense, right? But when you look at what ended up happening with Lamar Jackson, people saw Lamar Jackson in college and they saw the 500-yard games and they saw him throw for 6, 7, 8 touchdowns a game. And they saw him as the passer that could run and do everything that a quarterback could possibly dream of doing. For me, watching him on tape, I said, he's a better version of Michael Vick.
Yeah.
He's accurate. He can place the ball very, very well. He can stand in the pocket and survey and get the ball to where it needs to go. He's patient.
Right. That's the thing. That's what people don't understand about him. When they watch him, they're like, he wants to go. But no, he always has his eyes downfield, and and that's why he was the longest time to throw in the league last year, because he moved with his feet and he did not get out of, he didn't start scrambling. He stayed where he had to get the ball out.
Right.
And it worked.
So then you look at the transition and what everybody was saying at that point, or before the transition, everybody was saying, well, maybe he's only a scrambler. Well, how can you say that? Look at the offense that he was in, and look at what he was being asked to do, and look at the weapons that he had around him to do it with.
Yep.
I mean, for the longest period of time, he had Hollywood Brown and Rashad Bateman were the only guys that the team looked at giving him as real true weapons. Right? Where are those guys now? Bateman is on the team as a really good number 2, and Hollywood Brown is I think he's still with the Chiefs, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, fast forward that to when the head coach finally decided, all right, we got to go in a different direction. We invested all this money we just paid to Lamar Jackson because he was his own agent and he did his thing. He got the bag. Okay, cool. But now we're going to need more out of this guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So we need to go and get an offensive coordinator that can give us the most we can possibly get out of our investment. So they go and get the guy they got. He comes in. Instant success.
Right.
Lamar is throwing all over the field. He won MVP.
Right away. Yep.
He won MVP immediately, as if people were just blown away. Like, wow. Like, look at, like, why do you think he won MVP? Because nobody saw him doing that.
Right.
That's why he won MVP.
Yep.
Right. So here's the correlation to Josh Allen. We immediately saw Josh Allen come in with, in my mind, one of the best offensive coordinators in the game right now, in Brian Daboll. Brian Daboll took one look at Josh and was like, I know exactly what to do with this boy. Yeah. Watch out.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And they went and got Steph Diggs. They got Cole Beasley. They already had John Brown here from the year before.
I'll even say Gabe Davis.
Right. They went and got Gabe Davis. They had Dawson Knox there. They said, Josh, go shred him.
Yep.
And he did.
He's like, I can run too. You can run too. Why not? He's like,
right. Ooh. you wanna rub your nuts on people's helmets? Do that too. Like, hey, do what you gotta do.
How mind if I do?
Right. So we see Josh get into this mode where he is just the offense is pass heavy, and he's throwing it all over the yard. We scoring touchdowns. He throwing for 4,000 or 5,000 yards, not 5,000, but he's throwing for like 4,500 yards.
4,400, yep.
And the stats are insane. And the only thing that people were saying at the time was the turnovers. Why? Why were they saying that though? They were saying that because in the draft, nobody thought that Josh Allen was Lamar Jackson. Yeah. People knew what Lamar Jackson was in college. People did not know anything about Josh Allen out of Wyoming. Yep. So they immediately assumed that he was trash. And when he became a star in the league, people had to eat those words. And it was very difficult for them to do that. So instead of doing that right away, well, he's got to fix the turnovers first before I just give him full credit. Okay, cool. Fine. So then comes Brian Daboll getting tired of dealing with Sean McDermott stuff and him going off and becoming the Giants head coach. And Sean is still in, Sean and Bean at this point are still in we got to win now mode. So they hired Dorsey because Dorsey's willing to just take the playbook from Daboll and still run that same offense with minor tweaks and running the ball more, right? It was successful for a year. And then the numbers started to decline in year 2 of that. Yep. So by year 3 of Dorsey's like, well, I want to change the offense now. And they, Sean is with it because, of course, 12 formation, a lot more run plays, more West Coast offense, much more efficient style of play, right? Cool. But what happened to Josh Allen? Josh Allen's numbers, right down into the trash can. Basically. He wins MVP that way. Right? But the numbers that Josh Allen was putting up are just about comparable to the numbers that Lamar Jackson was putting up at the beginning of his career when he won MVP, right? And one of the things that people said about Lamar Jackson when he won MVP in the beginning is he's carrying that team. He's the reason that they're winning those games because of all the running and all the plays that he's making. Why? Because he had to. Why? Because he had no help around him at receiver. Sound familiar?
Look at you go. Look at you modulate on another level. Look at him resonate. Y'all give him a hand. Give him a hand. That was perfectly done. Perfectly done.
So to me, the path to now in week 1, in my mind anyway, should make these quarterbacks more brothers than enemies in any scenario. Because the resistance they've had to overcome from coaching alone has been extremely arduous.
I mean, I really liken it to Bird versus Magic because they came out the same year. They retired the same year. And they went through all the accolades. They argued. They hate each other, this, that, and third. But at the end of the day, Magic said, I love you because you're my brother. And Larry Bird is not a nice dude. And he said the same thing to Magic. But I think that's where this is going to end up. Because, I was so glad to go to the playoff game because I wanted to see Lamar in person. I heard people say in person is a different monster. He don't look the same as he does on TV, which is correct. But I've seen Josh in person so often. You just kind of like, okay, that's the quarterback. That's what he does. But and we're talking about it, and I think for me, I just get tired of just glazing, if you will.
Yeah,
I get tired of glazing. It's like this guy can do no wrong, but this guy does everything wrong. Why can't they both be great?
Right.
I mean, that's what I'm getting at. Like, I don't have a 1 or a 2. Of course, Josh gets denied. He's our quarterback. But if Lamar was our quarterback, he'd get denied from me. So right now I'm saying, we got Mahomes, we got Burrow, and we got these 2 dudes. Take your pick. I don't care which one you say. You could be a Bills fan like Lamar. You could be a Ravens fan like Josh. I don't care. I just know when I watch them play, you want to nitpick over the interceptions he threw, the fumble that DeMar Hamlin caused. Fine, but at the end of the day, you watch two Goliaths play football, and I got to sit there for 60 minutes of football and watch this unfold.
Right.
So I think if you really step back from your homerism either side and just appreciate what was in front of you, you would see it a lot differently. You would see it a lot better. You would understand what you got the chance to look at.
Right. I mean, this to me is quite possibly the best the best era of quarterbacking that we will probably ever see.
Yeah.
Think about all the guys that are in the league at the same time right now. Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts. I mean, Jordan Love. I mean, there's a lot of young up and coming dudes. I mean, Drake May.
They're all over the place.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It, like these, and all of these guys are set up with pretty good teams now to go out there and win. Look at what the kid in Denver did last year. He made it to the playoffs first year. Bo Nix,
CJ Stroud.
Exactly, bro.
You just keep naming them. It's like okay,
right?
So
right. There were not this many.
No, Papa Shedeur Sanders. No, I'm joking. I'm just messing with you. He might be, but I'm interested. I lie to you now. I'm interested in what he does without his dad. That's what I'm interested in. So he might be that dude. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a humbling experience.
He certainly won't have to do much in Cleveland to win games.
Right.
Their defense was number one last year. They kept Myles Garrett and they got Mason Graham now. That defense is going to be nice.
It should be good. It should be fine.
Yep. Few comments here I want to get to.
Yo, Joey Hatcher's coming with that knowledge. I like Joey. Where you been, Joey?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
He just chiming in. I like it.
Well, wait, did you warn him about all this?
I didn't.
So, all right. Well, okay.
Anybody in the chat? No. Okay. Well, guess you got to do it.
Yeah. Disclaimer, Joey, unfortunately, nobody has told you to this point, and I think they do it on purpose because they like setting the new people up. Once you enter into our chat, you're officially part of the family, and there's no getting out.
There's none.
It's chat in. It's not even blood
not
out.
Even
There's
blood
just
out.
no out.
I don't know how to get out.
Right. There's no way out. There's no door. So, and you can't Kool-Aid either. You can't bust through the wall.
Nope, can't bust through that wall.
Yeah, it's metal walls.
Metal wall.
Metal wall. Got this man in a titanium prison.
Yep. You got vibranium walls. You can't get out.
You can't get out.
Oh my gosh. So Joey says, according to the article I read the other day, the MVP voting wouldn't have been so close, but there was a mishap in the voting. You know, these kind of stories I tend to believe less and less the more they come out, because realistically, what would have been the point of coming out with this article in the first place, other than to say, oh, this might be some sort of conspiracy theory? But whether he won by an inch or a mile, he still won. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So stuff like this is kind of just, it's fake news to some degree. It's like, yeah, that's nice to know, but what does it really mean? Right.
I want to know how can you make a mishap? What is this? They had the hanging Chad, like in the what was that way back when? Is that what it was? But yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, it's just good football. When you have, I don't want to hear about fatigue. I don't care if somebody got it 5, 6, 7. It's for somebody to take from them. And I think that's what Josh finally did. He took it from being, the sitting MVP, and now it's Lamar's job to try to return the throne. He's got to try to return it, and it's Josh's job to keep him off of it.
Right.
And that's why this is exciting. Yeah. It's right in our own backyard, and you can watch your quarterback versus their quarterback, the two up and coming, the two big names in the league. Do this.
Yeah.
Do this. You got Lamar Jackson, who's acting on Power or whatever show it is he's on now. I saw him waste somebody once. I'm like, oh, he did that too well. You got Josh. You got Josh Allen on the red carpet with
too much experience,
right? With his now wife and his centers and whatever else comes to pass. But it's all good.
Yeah,
it's all good.
Did you see the fire that people are trying to start with Haley and this? They got this list of all these flirting moments with Michael B. Jordan now. Like this, it's insane. Like people are trying to set this up for some reason. They might be Lamar Jackson.
They got to be.
They might be.
They got to be. But then again, somebody, I'll say it. She's in the Discord. Dorothy said that I guess Haley played a lesbian, and she was starting to be typecast as a lesbian.
Oh, really?
And then when they found out she was just acting, or she had a following. And so she said in the Discord that there was actually like fan groups or whatever hating Josh because they thought that he turned her. Yeah, they thought he turned her. Like
this is nothing but more fodder for those people deriding Josh Allen to be like, oh my God, he has the greatest meat in the world. Look at JA-17 turning him over.
Right. Oh man. I was like, I didn't even know. It was funny. We went to Sinners and at the end of the movie, I was like, I wonder how many people in here were here for Josh Allen. She's like, why you say that? I said his fiance's in the movie. She's like, where? I said, the main girl, Mary. She's like, that was her? I'm like, yeah. She's like, good job. Good for her. I'm like, I don't think this was her first role. She don't recognize her as a Marvel character though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she said she what was her name in there in Marvel?
Oh, gosh.
Exactly. That's why T doesn't recognize her.
No, but she had it. She
I
had
know
a show
she was a
with,
person, right?
with Hawkeye.
But T is like,
I'm just trying to remember the character's
name. You're right.
Yeah.
Beth, what's going on? Yeah, no, and that's the thing. T said the name. Marvel? Yeah. See
who?
He said she was in Marvel.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
I would have never guessed her playing a Marvel character.
No, well, she had on Disney Plus. She had one of those like series. She wasn't in a movie.
Of course, Roy.
Well, I mean, yeah. Like,
of course,
what do you say? Oh no! Stop! She's not by. She's not by.
And Beth said, "I'll put Beth up here to wash that out of here." Let's see. Haley's an actress, clearly a good one at that. She's also a talented singer with a lucrative singing career. She sings.
Yeah, she nice with it.
Well, all right.
Yep.
She's got a phenomenal actor career.
Yeah.
Hawkeye's daughter, Kev said.
No. Actually, in the show, she wasn't Hawkeye's daughter. So the Huntress is DC. But that's the equivalent of the Marvel character. I can't think of it. You know what? What is?
Yeah, you look it up because my brain is.
I need to know now. I need to know
please
because this is my realm right here, and I just cannot.
It is
think
your realm, man. I'm sitting here. I'm just squirreling your world.
She did that.
We just opened their brains up, y'all.
You
Good job,
did, man.
Junior been playing with her on the game the whole time. He didn't even know. He like, yo, who this girl? She's nice. And then, this is Josh Allen's wife. But yeah.
She becomes the new Hawkeye. That's right. Okay. So.
Oh, Kate Bishop.
Yeah, Kate Bishop.
Bro.
Yeah. So.
See, now I'm slow because I've seen this show. And she's, oh my gosh, bro.
Yeah. She was in the Marvels movie.
Yeah.
Yes, he probably does. Yes, he does.
Oh my.
What?
He said Jay got the magic stick.
Yo, hold on. Can we stop talking about Josh's whatever?
Listen.
I didn't.
His beef is legendary now, bro.
I didn't say anything.
In people's minds, that beef is responsible for turning Haley.
Yep.
So it is what it is.
Why are you thinking about that?
We're gonna let him have it.
Why are you thinking about that?
We're not. We're gonna let him have it.
Like they talking about it, not us.
Yeah, we're gonna let him have it.
I'm talking about them, not you.
Why are they talking about it? Because
this is what they do.
Right.
Fine.
Ain't nothing else to talk about right now.
So I think you could be talking about.
Walter said since Allen's married to an Avenger, he can ask the Winter Soldier if he can use his name.
Why does Josh Allen have to ask for anything?
He is a Winter Soldier, I guess.
Yeah, people are already calling him that.
But the real one probably could work him over. So I guess he probably should ask.
Donnie says, "What the hell is Hawkeye?"
I don't know.
Bless your heart.
Yes, you do.
Is that the one with the arrow?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
See, you vaguely know. Even like everybody vaguly knows who Hawkeye is.
The only reason I know is because I went to sit through that movie with y'all.
He's the most well-known character in the Marvel in the world.
I don't know. No, I wouldn't say that. Spider-Man is by far the most well-known kid. Spider-Man, and after the movies, now Iron Man is the most.
That was my only guy.
Iron
Man's the only one.
That's the only one you knew?
That's the only one I care about.
Why?
That's the only one I like.
Why?
Because he's funny, he's charismatic, he's rich, he got the suit, and
you are so easily rizzed, bro. Like you.
I know.
He's the smartest one there.
You know who my favorite character is though?
Who?
It was Thanos.
Oh,
that was my favorite guy.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
See, now we fighting.
Dude, I had to. Did you see my watch? You saw my watch,
bro.
Mine
watching everything
from the movies. Mine was always. Well, in the comics, it was always the Hulk, and then before that it was Wolverine. But then the X-Men movie sucked so bad I hated them.
They
so I left Wolverine alone for a little bit, and I was on Hulk. And I mean, but Spider-Man is above and beyond all of those. Like I came up on. I still have Spider-Man comics to this day.
It's in my room too.
It's like retired jersey number. You have to ask Aramis, huh?
You gotta ask you for it.
Oh yeah.
You gotta ask. He's saying you gotta ask, Aramis. You gotta ask. You can't just take it.
Why?
Because Winter Soldier will come for him.
There you go. Black Panther. Kev says Black Panther for me. Yeah, he was another good one.
Aquaman. I had to watch because of Momoa.
To be honest, I didn't like those movies.
It doesn't matter because he got a bun and
man bun.
He's got a man bun,
and so that makes him attractive.
Very much so.
Okay.
She likes Roman Reigns too.
Okay, I can understand Roman Reigns from like what he does, but Jason Momoa, like
I don't know. Remember you were there. Remember the commercial where he took all his muscles and hair off in the Super Bowl commercial?
Yes.
T lost her mind. Remember that? She was pissed.
That was great.
I said, T, look at your man.
It was such a good commercial.
He's falling apart. He's disassembling.
I will tell you the one movie that I saw with Jason Momoa in it that made me really respect his acting was the most recent Fast and Furious movie.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
it's 9.
I love it.
Or was it 10? It was 10 part 1.
I might have saw
it was 10 part 1 and part 2 was
10 part 1. His acting in that movie was amazing.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
Yeah, he actually was good in that. And Donnie, that's what I got. I have a Thanos watch, a purple band Thanos watch with was it Infinity Stones?
Oh, is that what I've seen you wear that before? Okay,
yeah,
okay.
It's got the fist and the Infinity Stones around it.
That's dope.
Yeah, so so I did get the Invicta. I saw it. He said he was good in Minecraft. Big Papa Bill said.
Oh, I didn't see my children seeing Minecraft. I didn't get a chance to see it.
Joey said it's like comparing an Oscar Mayer to a Salem. Yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Get this off my bun.
Yeah.
What are you doing here? Get this off my bun.
You know what I need? I need a Joker watch. I'll
see if I can find.
That's my favorite DC character.
I'll see if I can find one.
A Joker watch? I'm sure there's a million of them.
Well, I'm see if I can find one that's up to my standard.
You know who my character is.
Who's that?
You already know who it is.
Oh, he asked you.
Yeah, right. just like I gotta guess.
The most obvious character in DC.
The most obvious character in DC, Batman.
Batman.
Oh, of course.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right.
I even was like, is that Batman?
Yeah. Well, as soon as he said DC, then I knew.
That's the part. I was like, I don't know if Batman's DC gonna try it.
If it's Marvel, then this Captain America. You see my Captain America shirt? I welded.
Yeah, that's right. He did. He when he was in college, he welded his Captain America shield. Dude, he was taking measurements of my arm and stuff so he can make the part where your arm goes through and hold it. Yeah, he did all that. Still got it at the house too.
Let's see. Let's catch up. Anyone as old as he who remembers Shazam? No, Shazam never happened.
That was trash.
The movie with Shaq?
Yeah. No, Shazam.
Yeah, that happened.
Wait, no. Is it Kazam?
Shaq wasn't in it.
The one with Sinbad. The one with Sinbad. The one that everybody says never took place, but it definitely was a movie.
Now I need to look this up.
It was definitely a movie.
I thought Shaq was in a movie like that.
He was in one, and he was like the Sinbad movie never happened. I'm like, yes, it did. It definitely happened. I think it might have been Kazam. Big Papa Bill, are you guys gonna watch 28 Years Later this weekend? I don't know if it's gonna be this weekend.
You talking about the 2019 one? I saw both of those.
No, he said a show in the 70s. No, Steve, I didn't see that. Nope.
Okay.
And 28 Years Later this weekend. I don't think I'm gonna see it this weekend, but that will be something that I'm sure I have to watch because T already saw it or already saw the promo and said we got to do this. Luke Cage would be cool, but the guy they had play him in the show was horrible.
Why was he horrible?
He was horrible.
He's a great actor.
He was horrible for Luke Cage. He was too proper to be in Harlem, dude. He was way too proper to be in Harlem. I didn't buy him at all.
It didn't look proper though.
In the inner city, he didn't belong.
Well, if you read the comics, he don't even talk proper in the comics.
I know that. And the guy that had, I'm like, dude, you're supposed to be
His voice is supposed to be that deep though.
Yeah, so Luke Cage in the comics was a bit more Shaft than what we saw in the.
They should have got like Michael Jai White or something like that.
Yeah, but Michael J. He ain't tall enough. So I think
they can make it. They can make him tall enough.
Yeah, but that's hard to do.
But how tall is the guy that played Luke Cage? I'm gonna look it up now. Now you got me googling.
Yeah, we need to know. He's taller. I would bet he's probably 6'2", 6'3".
The guy that played the part.
Yeah, I think he's 6'2", 6'3". Let me look up Michael J. White's height.
I think he's like 6 feet. He's like 5'10" and 6 feet.
I really didn't like that Iron Fist one.
He's 6'1".
Who's that, Michael Jai?
Yeah.
All right, so anybody? Well, it's too late now. I've already committed. Let's say anybody.
Michael J. White's a good enough actor to pull that off, though. I really would have liked to seen that, but the thing with Michael J. White, like the fight scenes would have had to have been a little bit more than what you would see Luke Cage do in a fight.
He's 6'3".
Yeah, so Luke Cage from a fighting standpoint wasn't a martial artist. He was just straight up like, I'm gonna just beat you down.
Right. You know, the reason I say that because I was thinking about Black Dynamite and how he acted in there. You said Shaft, so I'm like, you don't want to go like too Richard Roundtree-ish, but you don't want Samuel L. Jackson. I'm thinking like right in that cusp where he could play that guy.
Yeah.
But it was, I mean, it got the show was cool. I actually enjoyed Mahershala Ali in that show better. The villain. He had that voice to him, that raspy voice. Like I was afraid of him, even though I know he was a hooper.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still scared of this dude. He's smarter than me, but I'm still who knows what he's capable of.
Yeah. He needs more roles in these kind of movies. He's too good an actor to not be
really
like
is.
The way I reacted when I found out Blade was canceled, I was like, why?
Oh yeah.
Like, why would you do that? That was his opportunity to finally come out to the forefront as one of the best black actors of our time. And
they said, you know, because originally Marvel was already, you know, confirming that the new actor for Blade was supposed to be coming out.
Yeah.
Because the old actor was I'm not gonna, the old actor was decent. I feel like this new actor, what you told me about that, I feel like he
oh, so you talking about when everybody was asking for Wesley Snipes and then
yes, because Wesley Snipes was I mean, this before when I got a little older, I knew about Wesley Snipes. I was like, he probably be a good fit.
Yeah,
he probably be a good fit. But then they ended up, you know, shutting it down. I was like, you understand how nice Blade is, man? You cannot shut him down like that. Like, come on now, man.
Yeah,
right.
And Timonius Lick said he wants Michael Jai to play Bronze Tiger. Who's Bronze Tiger?
I think he might be talking about White Tiger. I'm not familiar with Bronze Tiger.
They're coming up with the White Tiger movie.
Let's see.
And then I think they said they're gonna have
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's some pictures of him holding the claws here too.
Yeah, Donnie Foster said, I keep thinking about Johnny Cage. That's Mortal Kombat. But yeah, no, that takes me back to when you couldn't pause the game. Your mom called you. You had to risk getting your butt kicked when she called you. I'm on that. I'm about to fight Goro, but I gotta go.
That's why I don't know him. So Bronze Tiger is DC.
That's when Sanico said, anybody remember Mario Van Peebles? Absolutely. I grew up on Mario Van Peebles. I grew up on Mario Van Peebles.
He was a kid. Like he was always some kind of character in a movie that just kind of threw you off your equilibrium. You know what I mean? Like you would see him play a character and if he had to be a crack addict, he would be a crack addict that made you like understand reality of crack addicts.
Yep.
You know
his
what I'm saying?
dad made sure he wrote that just right.
Yeah, right.
Melvin was not playing about his boy.
Oh my gosh, Donnie Foster said, I kept thinking Johnny Cage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
Johnny Cage was definitely a childhood moment for most kids.
I hate him.
Who, Johnny Cage?
I hate him.
The nut punch.
I hate him.
That's why.
No.
Why?
He's too cocky.
I do tend to not like that. Yeah,
I didn't like him because he's basic.
He's probably the most like fifth best hand-to-hand combat behind Liu Kang, Kung Lao, Raiden, and Katana. So
here's an interesting thought. One of the things about Superman that I hate, because I hate the I guess the theme of Superman and all of the humility and all of the overt righteousness, you know what I mean, that goes with the character, even in the face of all the things that he could avoid by establishing a bit more of a higher level of authority with, you know, some of the things that he can do, right? And here's what I mean. So there's been several times where he's had an opportunity to kill somebody that would tell him, you better kill me or I'm coming back for you. And he still lets them live. And what happens? One of his people gets killed. You know what I'm saying? And there's this correlation that I see between Superman and Josh Allen, where Josh Allen is quite possibly the most powerful quarterback of all time. Like literally with everything that he can do on the field, if he was to wield his abilities and wield his power like Joe Burrow does, this would be a completely different franchise overnight. Right? And
Wait, are you saying like if Superman was like he had the ability to like?
Well, I guess what I'm saying is Superman is notorious for going easy on his enemies.
Oh, Batman is.
No, Batman is the complete opposite.
No, we're not talking about George Reeves at all.
No, I'm saying like I'm not saying he's saying, I'm saying like the concept, the way how Superman handles his victims.
Oh, like Batman doesn't kill anybody either?
Yeah, he doesn't kill, but the man will brutalize you and put you in a hospital with 10 fractured bones in your body.
Right. Well, see, the thing about Superman is Superman would rather not even go that far. Like if he can just sit and have a conversation with you and get you to stop, like the Flash is the same way. The Flash would rather sit and have a conversation with you. You know what I'm saying? And I know I'm kind of getting far-fetched with all these, comic book characters, but bear with me. So the correlation between Superman and Josh Allen to me is one of the things that I think annoys you the most about Josh Allen is that he has all this power and opportunity to create real lasting change, but because of this either self-imposed or imposed upon him, this nature of humility that tends to hurt him more than it helps him in a sense. You know what I'm saying? And I think after seeing everything, I used to hate it when you made that point, but over time, kind of understanding that he's really the only person with the power to make change right now, and he's not doing it. I hate that.
It's tough to watch,
right?
Because it could happen, but it's just tough to sit and let this play out.
Right.
Like people say, you're wasting Josh Allen's prime. And that's probably the extent of the negativity, Roy, I'm going to get to, but it's just, it's a feeling that there's so much that can be changed. There's so much that can be done, but it's just not, because the people that can do it won't. And they know that, so what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
Josh Allen with what's $5 million. I would say what's $5 million if you give me James Cook, or what's $5 million if you get me, whatever the top notch wide receiver was at the time. That's the things that irks me. When they say, Josh, you're good, but watch this defensive end we're gonna give you. Josh, you know what? What's $5 million? Thank you. You just got us Michael Hoyt. What's that? What's $10 million you could have taken? We gave us Larry Ogunjobi. It's like, what the hell did that do for me?
Right.
I'm not throwing to those guys, and they're not going to be big enough. They're in a rotation. They're not going to play enough to really impact the defense. Right. It's not a top flight young safety. There's not a cornerback. It's just these guys that you brought in to be depth, as you say. So that has to sting a little bit, but he keeps his fronts up. He keeps his emotions, even if he's like, man, this sucks. It sucks because you contributed.
That's right.
And that's the thing that really bothers me about it. You contributed to it. Josh feels change isn't needed. You're right. And that's the problem.
Exactly. Exactly. That's the issue. Look, there's a such thing as being implicit by not reporting. Right. That's a real thing with the legal system. If something illegal happens in front of me and I just stand there and watch and I don't do anything, I may not be involved, right? But I just don't do anything to report it or stop it or whatever. That's being implicit. By not doing anything, I am still doing something to assist in the crime that's being committed, right? And I guess that's kind of what I'm talking about when it comes to this mindset behind the way Josh is being, the way we're being when it comes to head coaching decisions. Because the other side of this is from a fan standpoint, the more we get into this stance of, well, let's see if they can do it next year. Okay, well, let's see if they can do it next year. Okay, well, let's see if they can do it next year. Like at some point, we have become implicit in our willingness to be patient to go almost a decade with no Super Bowl win. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, think of and people are going to bring up the Steelers, but to me, the Steelers are a bad example of what the Bills would be without Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm.
They would be a team that is good enough to make the playoffs, or good enough to just miss it. And because they're not a terrible team, they're not going to fire their head coach.
Yeah, I think I agree with what you've been saying, even for different reasons. Like you know me, I don't put everything on Josh to say if Josh is here, we're automatically this, that, and third. But I think, I'm looking at the comments of people saying, you know what, Josh, we're a 6-win team without him, rather. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you don't know that. But then I thought I'd step back and say, you know what? If we didn't have Josh, what team would they put together? And it's not saying that he carries it, but I just don't trust that they can do something when they didn't have something like this on their team already. Right. Because if you don't have that, you got to work harder. And they've never showed us that they can. They showed us they know how to spend money. And Josh would have gave you the money to give to somebody else. But it wouldn't have been the person you wanted. It wouldn't have been Myles Garrett. It wouldn't have been Trey. It would have been somebody else you put into a rotation. Mm-hmm. And you would have had a, running back by committee. You would have had another tight end. You would have had a whole different set of wide receivers that run short routes or whatever your quarterback is good at. Because, we have the money. We got to spend it. We don't have a franchise quarterback. But you don't want these guys to have that kind of money. It would have almost been better if they would have came into a situation where they didn't have money to spend.
Exactly.
Where they had to learn the ropes, with limited funds. But they had everything. It's like the Sabres. They have all the funds in the world because they don't have any players.
Well, they did that on purpose, right? And I think we talked about this a lot as it was happening. The roster surgery. Mm-hmm. The roster surgery was, we are going to get rid of the bad contracts. We are going to open up enough cap space so that we can build what we envisioned building here in Buffalo to go and win a Super Bowl, right? And when they did it, when they said that, it was, okay, cool. I mean, if because in my mind at that time, Marcel Darius wasn't living up to his billing for the money that he was getting. So that was a bad contract. Mm-hmm. The Cordy Glenn situation, I kind of looked at as, okay, well, if he doesn't want to sign here, then you just trade him and you go and you draft somebody better, right? But then they go and they draft Deion Dawkins, who was essentially the same player when he started his career. Now, Deion Dawkins has become better than Cordy Glenn has become in their respective careers. But initially, it was like you got the same guy. And I don't have any other reason to believe that if Cordy Glenn wasn't still on this team, he wouldn't have developed to be as good as Deion Dawkins. Mm-hmm. There's no evidence to say he would or wouldn't. But you can't make the assertion that was a good move because, you know what I mean? You'll never know. But I guess my frustration was the initial glance of that move was like, you get rid of Marcel Darius, you don't replace him with somebody better. You get rid of Cordy Glenn, you don't replace him with somebody better. You don't replace him with you replace him with the same thing. Basically, they did that a lot at a few positions where they just wanted to replace the guy. Mm-hmm. They didn't want to replace the performance. Yeah. They just wanted to replace the guy. They kept the skill set. Mm-hmm. And when you look at all that stuff, and then you look at how everything else kind of transpired after that, it was like, wait a second, what are we actually building here? Because this doesn't feel like an improvement from the 2017 team. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah, we're expecting to have a down year. Yeah, I'm okay with 6-10, whatever. Fine. We got Josh Allen. We got this young team, but this team feels like a worse team going forward than what we had in the first place. Like, I think I would almost rather have Marcel Darius and Cordy Glenn back, because at that point, now you got to build around those contracts. Now you got to be smart. Now you don't have the money to go out and, spend on Von Miller and spend on all these other, guys that didn't pan out here. Real quick, I want to bring up this point from Sal here, because this was the other part I wanted to get to. Sal says they doing Josh like the Packers did Rodgers. That's exactly right. And I think that's the frustration with the Superman complex that I see on Josh now, where this humility is killing him. Mm-hmm. It's killing him because they're talking that into him for sure. Mm-hmm. From jump. They're trying to capitalize on the fact that he doesn't know he's beautiful. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And so it turns into, well, Josh, don't look in the mirror. Josh, you do know you got like some stuff around your eyes here. Mm-hmm. Josh, you do know your hair is a little messy. Like, you need to clean yourself up. You really haven't been yourself lately. Mm-hmm. All these things to kind of keep Josh in check and keep him, second guessing his stature and his star status and all these things. And meanwhile, the Bills are like, man, long as we got Josh, man.
We dodged someone there. We dodged one.
Even if we make a mistake, even if Gabe Davis don't turn out right, man, we still got Josh. Even if Stephon Diggs start talking stuff and we end up having to get rid of him, man, at least we got Josh.
Yep.
Even if this Von Miller signing don't work out, at least we got Josh. Like, this is a real thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, Roy had it. He hit it there. He said it took 7 years or so to build a competent O-line. What more do you want? Right. 7 years is any other place you don't have 7 years to do anything.
Exactly, bro.
Yeah. So that's that. And I was thinking, I was listening to, was it One Bills Live? Or no, I saw it on Instagram where they were talking about, of course, this Trey Hendrickson thing again. And there, the push now is, if the Bills give the Bengals a second-round pick next year for Trey Hendrickson, would you take it? I'm like, I mean, on the surface, sure, but it's not going to work. There's no way you can do that.
Right.
Because you got to look at it like this. Trey Hendrickson is leaving. He wants to leave the Bengals over what? Money. What don't we have?
Money.
And people are like, well, what's the trade? But think about it like this. Trey Hendrickson is leaving because he's guaranteed $18 million. He don't want to play. He wants more guaranteed. He doesn't want to be the top paid. He doesn't want to hear I'm the highest paid. Then I want guarantees because I'm 30 years old now. I want for years. And I ran, obviously, me. I can't just sit here because people are going to at me. They're going to be like, oh, I mean, the pros of it is finally you get an edge rusher like a real edge rusher that's proven in this league that he can disrupt the game in a major way. But that comes at a premium. Right. That comes at a huge premium. He's 30. Our D-line is no spring chicken. If you look at everybody under contract, Von Miller, yes, he counts because he's dead cap. Our average age for our defensive line is I think it was 27 years old. Now, average pay for our defensive line is $46.3 million. The average is 46.9. So we're just above average at 46.3. So that in itself doesn't tell you, but look who we have. You got Greg Rousseau, Ed Oliver, AJ Vanessa, Michael Hoyt. You have on the older end, you got Daquan Jones. Jordan Phillips is still on the thing. Quentin Jefferson's still on the thing. Austin Johnson, guys that aren't even playing for the Bills, they're all dead cap figures. So they blew it. You got TJ Sanders, Landon Jackson, Marcus Harris, Zion Logue, and Casey Riders for our defensive line. So that brings our age down significantly. Now you're looking at about 30, but you want to bring in Joey Bosa. You want to bring in Trey Hendrickson at 30. Now he said he wants 30 to 35 million, but he wants 20-something million in guaranteed money.
Right.
We have negative money next year. We're at negative 2 million next year. Right. Now, see, this is the thing people don't say. Now, if you're looking at a new contract for this guy, what does it cost? It's going to cost, as I said, 30 to 35 million. He wants something similar to Max Crosby and Nick Bosa. If you look at that contract, we're not going to be able to fit that. Where do you put the money?
Right.
Do you push it down to 2027 when he's not even himself anymore? 2028 when we actually have some money, but we only have 29 people on the roster? We're not going to be a top echelon salary cap team for the foreseeable future.
Right.
And that's a problem when you got the players that we have now. Yeah. Roy said, I'm assuming that dead cap is from void years and for shite players. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. For the most part, yes. That's what it is.
Yep.
Because what they did was they knew they were up against it. And they put people on the roster with these 1-year contracts with void years. And what these void years do is they know they're not going to be on a team, but they spread their contract out across these years, which is fine when they're 23, 24, 25 years old, because you can re-sign them probably if they're any good. Yeah. But when they're 30, 31, 32, you get the Von Miller situation where you start getting hamstrings, you get Achilles, you get ACLs, Joey Bosa. But you're on the hook for all this money for these guys. But they keep doing it. Go find your talent, your young rookie talent. And I'm blurry as ever again because I'm getting murky. But I mean, even when you look at the money and all that stuff, it sounds good, but you got to ask yourself, what is the premium? What does it mean? And I know that people think Monopoly money. People think Madden. You could just make it go away. But that's why we're in the situation we're in now.
Right.
Imagine in 2027, 2028, if a premier wide receiver comes out and Josh Allen's 31, 32. Imagine if they're available and you still have no money because you signed this guy. Mm-hmm. You signed Michael Hoyt. You got Ogunjobi on the 3-year contract, even though he's only going to be here for 1. Right. You're doing this to yourself. Take the pill. Bite the bullet now.
Exactly.
Get clean. There's nobody available next year that you really need. Pay Cook if you want to. Pay whatever. But then in 2027, 2028, you got Josh, and you're in position to get another talent.
So here's the part of this conversation that's going to get tough, and this is kind of in line with all this. Walter says, "I know it's not fun to talk about, but every season we don't win a Super Bowl is ultimately a failure, in my opinion, because it was viewed as a success. Because if it was viewed as a success, seats wouldn't be getting hot and people don't get fired."
Sounds like somebody said that before.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, we've been screaming that for 2 years. So thank you, Walter, for joining in on that, making that noise with us. But here's the thing: when you look at the allocation of assets and you see what the Bills have drafted and you see what they've spent their money on, I would want you to ask yourself this question. Right. And do this with whatever team you want. Right. But let's pick and choose different positions from different teams just to keep it even amongst all, the entire NFL. Right. The Buffalo Bills wide receiver room. Mm-hmm. Would you rather have our wide receiver room now with Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman, Palmer, Moore, and Samuel? Mm-hmm. Or would you rather have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Jermaine Burton? Mm-hmm. I think just about everybody would say, no, go give me those 2 elite dudes, those 2 number 1 dudes, and the draft pick that played extremely well last year. Yep. Go give me those dudes and pair them with Josh Allen, right? If you were to look at defensive lines and you looked at the Eagles defensive line and you saw Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter and Grant, actually Grant might have retired, but you see some of the guys that they have, right? Which would you choose? You want Greg Rousseau and him, slipping all over the place in the AFC Championship game, or you want the defensive line that ripped the Kansas City Chiefs offensive line to shreds in the Super Bowl, right? You look at the corners or the secondary rather. Would you rather have Christian Benford, Trey White, Max Hairston, Taylor Rapp, Dane Jackson, Cole Bishop, Taron Johnson, or would you rather have Pat Surtain? I can't think of the safety's name. Would you rather have that secondary, who was the number 1, but they were part of the number 1 defense in the league last year?
What team is this?
The Broncos.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, and I guess what I'm getting at is this. If you're being honest about the value of these players at their respective positions, it's easy to arrive at our players are a step below all the players that I just named, right? All the position groups that I just named, right? You could even go as far as to look at what the Patriots have in their secondary and say their top corner in another year is probably going to be better than Christian Benford.
Gonzalez, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So there's all these positions, but I guess what I'm trying to arrive at and what the truth in all this is, those position groups as a whole were all players that the Bills could have had. And instead of going and getting that level of talent, they said, we have Josh. We don't need to do that. But even with all that, instead of saying, you know what, we can get these players and pay them less, they still decided we're going to pay some players market value and we're going to spend basically right up to the cap.
Yeah, no, Roy, he's not saying Surtain per se. He's just saying that unit is a collective over our units. Yeah. So Surtain, absolutely he was. But, the point still remains. Max Hairston's a first-round pick. I think Taylor Rapp was a second. Bishop was a second. And Denford is a 6th. Taron Johnson was a 4th.
Yes.
So, there's a disparity, but what he's getting eventually arriving at is that if you're looking at just a 10 to 15-year process, I think they could fix Main Street before this guy figures this out.
No, they finally fixing that Fillmore Bridge, and it's like that one has been terrible forever.
You're like, all right, okay, progress.
Right.
But I think that what you're saying is 100% right. You look at the Eagles defense. Which one of those guys we couldn't have that wasn't named the guy from Toledo? What was his name?
God,
I just had a brain fart. I wanted him too.
Wow, what is his name now?
Yeah. Anyway, I mean, you passed on Dijon. You passed on, you could have probably got Darius
Quinyon Mitchell.
Yes.
Yeah.
You could have got Darius Slay. You could have got Slayton. You could have got. I mean, but they said, thanks, but no thanks. We're good.
Right.
We're gonna go ahead and get Trey White back. We're gonna go get Dane Jackson back. Why they say? Because they told you they didn't hide it from you. It's because of familiarity.
Yep.
Trey White is a feel good story.
Yep.
But are we trying to feel good? Are we trying to win a chip? They got rid of him because he couldn't help him win a chip anymore.
Right.
But you know what? Let's bring him back on in. I'm glad he's here because he's Buffalo. Basically, he loves Buffalo. I get it. I'm glad. But are we mitigating his familiarity, his popularity with the Super Bowl? Because if it was me, bring him in all day long. He's a fifth or cornerback.
Right.
He's not going to see the field, and he knows that. But he's not getting cut either. That's what I would tell him. Unless 2-3 people get hurt, you're not seeing the field. But we're not going to cut you.
So here's the switch that I need people to understand that we're trying to show you right now. Right. I think in each and every one of us, and you and I specifically, we have an understanding of this switch that we flip on and off, right? And that switch is when the season starts, we want the Bills to win no matter what. Screw everybody else. Bills all day, right? In the offseason, we flip that switch off because now we have to start looking at the reality of the moves being made.
Yep.
And we have to look at the reality of the impact of the moves made as well on the cap, on the locker room, on the coaching staff, all of that. We have to look at that stuff objectively. So with everybody that's watching right now, all 942, you thank you for hanging with us this far. But I want everybody to understand this is not a poo-poo on the Bills session. Nope. This is I'm trying to bring people to this option. There's an option available to all of us where we can be objective in the offseason and look at the moves that the Bills make and take a look at things from that perspective and just analyze them just at face value. Take the fan glasses off and just look at those moves compared to other teams at face value. Nothing else involved.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, even if you like the Ogunjobi move or the Hoyt move, are you telling me that you really couldn't wait till after the draft? Are you sure they wouldn't be there after the draft? I think at least one of them would. And especially knowing that they got the Peds thing, especially knowing that you had time.
Yeah.
You definitely had time. So it's like, what was so special about them that you had to have? Our defensive coordinator, who's going to be their boss for the next year, said, I don't even know where Hoyt fits. I'm going to figure that out. You're going to figure it out. You gave him $21 million. And now you're going to figure it out.
Right.
Oh boy.
Walter, you on point today, my man. He says, I'm by no means a Bengals sympathizer, but I don't get how a team that set the market at quarterback, wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2 is considered cheap. Meanwhile, our team that is comprised of bargain guys isn't. That's heavy.
Mm-hmm.
That's heavy. When you really think about, and it may not be cheap from a money standpoint because the Bills are spending to the cap, but it's a cheapness culturally in a sense. We would rather cheap out on the rich and culture guys, or I'm sorry, we would rather cheap out on the talent guys for the sake of bringing in rich and culture guys.
I liken it to you go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, I need soap. I got to have bar soap. I got to have it.
Of course.
Got to be clean. Okay, cool. I got $60. Let's ride.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right. I used to use Irish Spring. Mm-hmm. You know what? They got Equate over here. I can get more Equate bars.
Man, you got a whole alternative name already.
That's it. I can get the Equate bars instead of getting Irish. I can get my body nice and clean.
Yeah.
For the same price for longer with more bars.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about having to restock on my bars, sooner. Huh? Pause.
No, you said bars.
Oh, bars. Yeah. I'm about to say pause. Explain.
I know.
I was like, wait a minute. I'm 41. Explain this.
No, I said bars.
No, I got you. I was gonna feel like, wait a minute. Let me think. What did I say? But yeah, no. I mean, I think that's to your point. Exactly what you're saying. They said we want quantity. They tell you we want quality, but no, we want quantity. We want to be able to rotate.
Yeah.
I don't want to rotate. I want 4 guys up front that can rag that offensive line for 3/4 of a game. I want linebackers that can eat running backs for half a game at least. I want cornerbacks that can't get free or can't get the wide receivers can't get free against because they just on them like white on rice. But instead, no, we got to rotate. We got to be fair. We got to do this. Like, no, we don't. But that's your thing. That's your culture. That's what you like. Just pay the 4 because you're good paying Von Miller, who's had 2 injuries prior to coming here, all this money. You're good paying Joey Bosa all this money, so you're basically buying an Irish Spring as it is. So give me the better Irish Spring with aloe. Right. Don't give me the original blend. Give me the aloe one. Let me get nice and moisturized. I don't want to buy lotion too.
Yeah.
You're going to give me this roughneck bar over here, this burlap and barley and crap. Just let's not cheap out. Let's treat ourselves every once in a while.
Yeah. Roy says, sorry, liquid soap way better than bar soap.
You using this man?
I like liquid soap. That's what I use.
This man is using
that and a little not a loofah, but a little scrubber puffs.
Yeah, I know something like, yeah. Roy uses Topps brand dish detergent on his body like
what a nice Brillo pad to get up under the armpits. Yeah.
I gotta get that. Like, boy, what the hell's going on, man?
Yeah, but I mean, look, I think at the end of the day, the switch is what I want everybody to focus on. We have to develop the switch, because if we don't, we're gonna look at the end of Josh Allen's career and we're gonna say, where did it go? What did we get out of that? In the same, think about it like this. For everything that making the Super Bowl 4 years in a row did for bragging rights at the time, we still have to live with the ridicule of, yeah, but you lost 4 Super Bowls in a row. You couldn't win one, right? It's almost it's almost the macro perspective of Sean McDermott calling 6 quarterback sneaks in a game and only getting 1. It's like, dude, you ran 6 and only got 1. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a similar scenario. It's just funny to bring up, to kind of poke people with that want to take pride in. Yeah, but we made 4 Super Bowls. Okay, and right, but again, are we going to find ourselves asking that same question or having that same debate? Oh, Josh Allen was the greatest of all time. Well, he didn't.
That get you
right.
Yeah,
the same conversation that Chargers fans are having about Phillip Rivers, who should be in the Hall of Fame, who should be widely regarded as one of the greatest to ever do it. But what did he ever do?
Yeah.
Right. And so here's that conversation comes to a head at this point, and I'm gonna put my Bills Mafia experience on blast.
So Joey Hatch is my guy. I'm just gonna say that right now. Joey Hatch is my guy. He's an MVP right now. Everybody else in the chat is regulars. I love y'all, but Joey is in here speaking my language.
What did he say? And I hate how Brandon kicked the cat. Oh, that's huge for you.
I said that one of the first shows we did. 2 years ago, I said that. Then he said, when we were talking about the soap, he said that's because we've been thrift store shopping ever since Brendan Bean got here, because he never fixed the cap problem because he's big baller Bean. Hey,
man. Yeah. You got to get credit for that one, bro. That was all the way right.
Yeah.
So this arrival of this point that people come with, and Bills Mafia experience asked that for the second time so far since he's been jumping into the comments, and realistically he only jumps in whenever what's his name, whenever Donnie comments and says what he's got to say, here comes Bills Mafia experience to argue with him and try to tell him how he's wrong, right? So Bills Mafia experience asked me the famous question, well, if you fire Sean McDermott, who are you going to replace him with? Right. You just gotta hang your head at that point, because it's like, what are we doing?
Why we keep doing this?
Why do we keep asking that question? Mm-hmm. Like, is that the only default that people have when you talk about getting to another coach and trying to strive for better?
What do I call it? Yo mama. That's your mama. That's what it is.
When you have nothing better to say, yo mama.
Right. Oh.
Right. And people laud that as the end all be all to shut down anybody who's talking stuff about Sean McDermott. Well, who you going to replace him with? See, you don't even know.
He doesn't know.
Right. So why are you talking if you don't know? Right. I'm gonna tell everybody right now. If you think for 1 second Joe Brady couldn't operate this team as a head coach and be successful with Josh Allen as his quarterback, you out of your mind.
Wait.
Right. Anyone. I'm gonna start saying that from now on. Thank you, Kev. Yeah. Just anyone, bro. Anyone like that. And that's the thing that, like, what it seems like people forget we have Josh Allen when they say that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, who are you going to replace Bean and Sean with? Bro, literally anybody. We've seen this with players. We've seen this with coaches. Any offensive coordinator that you put there with Josh is going to be good. Ken Dorsey was fine. What got him killed was really him being exposed on his knowledge of, route combinations and stuff like that. But that happened year 3 into his stay here. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He was fine for 2 years. And everybody was saying, screw Brian Daboll. We don't need him. We got Ken Dorsey. Look at what the numbers in the year after Ken Dorsey left were even better, even if it was a minuscule percentage.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then and they
well, no, that's not what you want. Well, I don't know exactly when you turn it on, but that's not what this is. Trust me.
No. Basically, what we're saying is this mindset that people have whenever you talk about firing McDermott. People say, "Well, who are you going to replace him with?" Right. And I presented the option of you could hire Joe Brady, and the team would be just fine without Sean McDermott, and things would run probably a little bit better on offense.
I would be interested in seeing Babbage without McDermott.
Yes,
I really actually would.
Like I would do that. I would hire Joe Brady as the head coach immediately. Let him put whoever he wants at offensive coordinator, because it's going to be his offensive system and his, whatever. But the offense the way it is now with the players that he has, I guarantee he would be willing to get better players to fit what he really wants to do on offense.
He does have a voice in the draft room this year.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. No, I don't want these slow offensive linemen. No, I don't want, whatever.
You're like, who the hell is that? Wait, what? No, don't do that. Oh, he announced it already. I guess I'll make it work.
Right. So again, there's a switch. There's a switch we have to have where when we're not rooting for them to win games, we can still take a look at the things that they do that when you're looking at the entire league, take the Bills down a notch from all the other teams that win Super Bowls and because let's face it, the Eagles dominate their division too. It's not something that's restricted to just the Bills. The Bills haven't been the only team dominating their division, right? Kansas City's dominated theirs, right? There's other who dominated the South. It's been oh my gosh,
AFC South.
It's been the Jaguars for the most part for the last couple of years, and then last year they fell apart. Right? Yeah. So now it's the Texans. But again, those changes happen. That stuff happens, and my point for bringing all that stuff up is to say there are other teams that are accomplishing what the Bills are accomplishing and winning all these regular season games, and then they go win a Super Bowl. We seem to get lost somewhere in between the end of the regular season and our last game in the playoffs. And we just completely forget what happens in the playoffs. And we sit back on, well, we won 13 games last year. We're going to be fine again this year.
Right.
Like, why are we going to be fine? What's fine about getting to the divisional round and losing? What's fine about having a real shot at getting to a Super Bowl for the first time in 5 years and not getting it done with the best opportunity you've had?
Jeez, I mean, it seems like people are really a couple people come. They're like me. They're like me. They. I think. Oh well, I said you hate McDermott, but I can't stand Bean. And I'm fine with McDermott, and Bean is the one for me.
I'm not fine with either one.
I know. Well, I think for me, if I had to pick one, I just don't want Bean because I think that goes into our love of football when we love it, because you love the actual game. I love the off season where the moves are made and where the manipulations and the draft and free agency. And Bean he's not lived up to expectation. Now, where you watching and you're thinking about is pretty much when I'm going to sleep, if you will, because they're playing the games. I'm just watching to be a fan at that point.
Right.
It's like at this point, my job is done. Just go be free. And you're sitting there looking at X knows and who's playing and what route. I don't know any of that stuff. I'm just enjoying James Cook. Let him cook. I'm enjoying that and let the rest fall into play.
So I'd like to offer you this then.
Go ahead.
Because for as much hate as Bean deserves, I would contend that without Sean McDermott in the building, Bean would be able to allow his scouts to do their job in rounds 1, 2, and 3. Right? Because we talked about this before. We know now through, what we've heard and reports that we've gotten and stuff like that, and even from what what's the guy that was on the Tyler Dunn podcast?
Oh, Manos.
Yeah, Jim Manos. Even from what Jim Manos said, the process for Bean has always been they meet with the prospects, and Sean is there. Like Bean and Sean are meeting with these prospects together. They decide who the first, second, and third round picks are going to be after the second or third round, because they don't always do the third round together every year, right? But after Bean and Sean pick the guys that they want in the first few rounds, those next 4, 5, 6, 7 round those rounds after that are more so the scouts information and the information that the scouting team is giving to Bean, and then he picks players based off of their information, their recommendation, right?
See, this is I can liken it to where you wrote McDermott. I can do it perfectly.
Okay.
You don't like McDermott, not because, but one of the reasons you don't like him is because he's a defensive-minded coach. You want an offensive-minded coach.
Right.
I don't want a financial front office GM. I want a players GM, the one that knows how to identify talent. Yeah. So like Jerry Gray or something like that, that'd be my guy. And so I think for me, like you said, if he let the scouts do what they do, I just don't trust them.
Well, okay, think about it like this then. And I'm still trying. So
no, you're good. It's not going to be a Jameis thing. It's not like that.
Okay. so oh my God, why did you even say that?
I'm sorry.
Eat them dubs. Oh my God. Okay. All right. Hey, Steve, appreciate you.
Okay, now we got to do it.
Read the last 2 comments. Where they at? There's one. Where's the other one before that? Did we miss it? Oh, there is. Okay, so Steve says, can we be honest? McDermott was the second best candidate that we could have hired that year during a drought when no one wanted to come here, i.e. Kyle Shanahan. He says, by the way, Marv Levy was also not it. I mean, it's hard to judge these coaches when they have these all-time great quarterbacks. That's the kicker. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't say it was all them. Look at Mike McCarthy after Aaron Rodgers left.
Yeah, where is he now?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So again, let's get to comment number 2.
Steve's like, read them.
You're right. Steve said you want to replace who with you want who to replace him with. For a long time, we said Ben Johnson. You want a name for 2025? Dan Lanning. Mark it down. Kubiak is another name. Yo, Kubiak, for real. That's absolutely right. Kubiak is another one. I forget Kubiak's father's name.
Gary,
Gary Kubiak's son. Yo, he's gonna be nice. What team is he coaching for now? He's the offensive coordinator for somebody.
I gotta look it up. That was the wrong question to ask me. Okay.
So what's
his name?
Just look up Gary Kubiak's son. This is exactly where I was going, Kev. So what I was trying to get to is, from a GM standpoint, you look at Howie Rosen, right? Would you say Howie Rosen did a good job as a GM? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Clint Kubiak.
Huh?
Clint
Kubiak. Thank you. So Howie Roseman is not a football minded GM where he knows talent and all that kind of stuff. He actually has employed ex GMs and high level scouts to be on his team to do all the scouting and tell him who they should pick.
Donnie, be quiet. It wasn't that long. We filled in the silence.
You come one of these,
right? Watch your mouth, Donnie. We were there.
But so I would present that I actually believe that if Brandon Beane could be free of Sean McDermott's influence with all this culture stuff and all these, character things that are being force fed into the picks, the positions and the men that we draft and sign, and say that Brandon Beane would probably rely a lot more on his scouting staff, who, we've seen do a great job in rounds 4 through 7. You know what I'm saying? So I think if you would be willing to think that way about Beane's potential without Sean McDermott, I think you could see a little light at the end of that tunnel, as opposed to, I just want a guy that knows talent. I mean, Howie Rosen is an example of a guy who doesn't know talent, but has drafted a lot of it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get it. And the reason why I looked up with a skeptical eye was because I'm thinking to myself, well, first, Steve Lynn Damn, Steve, let me leave. It's 99. Don't beat up the man.
Nah, he don't hold his punches for nobody.
Nah.
Everybody could get it.
And if you met Marv, you wouldn't feel sorry for him, so you're okay.
Dang.
No, he's not a bad dude, but he still will get you.
Really?
That mouth is loose.
What?
Oh, that mouth loose.
Is what?
Yo.
Yeah.
Is what, King?
You heard me. I told you I get you, right?
Oh,
yeah,
man,
no,
got
I mean
you
that
with
dude.
one.
You trying your luck today, aren't you?
No, I didn't get you for a while, so I had to try it.
Nah, bro.
I didn't know if you were watching. But
I'm
anyway,
watching.
no. So I think I when you look at somebody like Roseman, you know, and somebody that doesn't know how to value something, they listen to popular opinion a lot, and they be like, "Oh, I want one of those. Give it to me." You know,
Okay.
and that's kind of how. I mean, I'm not saying that's what he's doing, but you know, when you don't know something well enough, you like if I'm looking at cars, you know cars inside and out. Me, I'm like, yo, the 2025 Explorer, bet money, it's black, it's got this. Look at it. I like it. Give it to me. You know,
Right.
and inside you're like, well, if you would have did this, you did that, you could have got this different. And I'm like, the hell with that? Give it to me. And that's how he is to me. It's like
Bean? You talking about?
No. Roseman, because he doesn't know.
Okay.
You know, real value of a player. Like he doesn't know, oh, I got we'll say CJ Sanders in the second round, we'll say.
Okay.
But I could get the same guy in Omar Norman lot. He doesn't know, you know, that kind of because he doesn't care. But he has
you can't say
he
that
has
though, bro.
no, what I'm saying, he has scouts to do that. But if he's not a pro guy, if he's not a player evaluator, he doesn't. I'm not making it, I'm just trying to be simple here. But,
right, I get it.
Yeah, he could say, you know, I like that guy because he had 17 sacks in college last year. Okay. I want that. We're drafting him. I'm not saying that's sweet because I don't follow him. But my main point to getting at is it always that I don't follow my scouts that gets me to where we are now, or is it that, you know, Howie Roseman's like, I want all nice things always. I don't care about what he did, where he did it, and that's
yeah. But it could be as easy as a conversation. Like I think about it like this: if somebody came to you for an investment, right, and they wanted to get you to invest in a tire business, right? Do you know everything there is to know about tires?
No, so I'm glad. Let me be like Goodyear. That's what I'm saying. I want something like Goodyear. Give it to me. That's what I'm getting at.
No. But I guess what I'm trying to get at is you would ask questions, right? Because you want to understand the fields. You want to understand what you're putting your money into, right?
I see. That's the thing. I would, because you know how I think.
So you just don't think Bean would? No,
what I'm saying is Howie Roseman. If it's Howie Roseman and he's like, yo, okay. So, okay. Case in point. I'm just being simple here because I'm just trying to draw a parallel.
Yep.
Aaron Donald.
Okay.
Regulated. Who's the next Aaron Donald? Give it to me. That's what I'm looking for. And I'm not saying he's doing that. I'm not. But see, I'm not. I don't
I'm sorry to interrupt.
You keep going to the Bills. I'm not going to. I'm talking about what I'm saying. No, what I'm getting at. The dang.
I know it got heavy on that.
There we go. All right. No, my overlying
is trying to tell you something.
Right. The overlying point I'm trying to make is that, you know, some people are like, you say you do your research. Yeah, you're supposed to.
Yeah. And
some people are like, nah, I just want something like the best that there is. And what I'm getting at is if you don't do your research, sometimes you oversimplify it and you'll hit because you got the money to pay for it. Okay. But when you ain't got no money, you got to do research. That's when you start having to ask people and you don't trust people you ask, or maybe you do. And that's kind of where I'm getting at the parallel. I don't know Howie Roseman other than his name and the one press conference I watched. I don't know anything, what his philosophy is. I looked it up. I was going to actually do a show on that. So thank you very much, Kev, whoever that was, because I was going to do a show on Bean versus the other good GMs on Friday. So if you want to hear that, come back on Friday. Cool. But I think there's a good way and a bad way on both sides. If his history, because he listens to his guys, like he said, he listens to his scouts. He lets them do it. You know, and Bean should listen to his scouts and do it. And McDermott should listen to his scouts and do it. If I was Pagula, and I wrote this, I don't know if I put it in the Discord or what, but I'm sitting here, I think I did. I'm sitting like, it's not good to have that much money and be that old. And sorry, Mom, I know you're the same age, but it doesn't matter. When you have billions upon billions upon billions of dollars, you're not counting your pennies. You're not looking at your nickels and dimes. Mm-hmm. Any other person be like, yo, why do we have this robust department of scouts? Why do we have this robust department? Where's my money going? You're not using them. Why are we paying for them? But he's like, whatever. You giving me Josh Allen, you giving me something to go to the stadium for, putting butts in seats, so it works.
Yeah.
But somebody like you, to your point, the informed person was like, you know what? Let me look at my books, because something ain't adding up. I'm paying X amount of millions of dollars to these departments that I'm not using. We're not getting a return on investment out of these departments.
Right.
That's my issue. So I get what your point, because your point was valid to us. Because we gonna do. I ain't got money to be burning.
Well, no. So I guess what and I was probably taking the longest way to get to my point, which was based on everything that I've heard from people who have worked in the building, reports that I've read from people that have worked in the building, everything that I've heard from people who have been around Sean in the building and seen and heard things. I can say with 100% certainty that Sean is the one making these decisions at the end of the day. When it comes to the players in the first, second, and third rounds, it's Bean is there in order to give Sean the information. Sean is acting as the CEO in a sense, and Bean is there giving him the information. Those first three guys, those are Sean decisions. That's why they're always these high culture, highly motivated, really nice, lovable, likable guys. You know what I mean? There
you go right there.
Bean has to find talent willing to put up. See, and that's the other part of this, is that you wonder why OBJ didn't want to come here for less money. You wonder why DeAndre Hopkins didn't want to come here for less money. They hear from players who've worked here before under Sean how it really is in the building, and how players get drilled, and how players get manipulated, and how players get treated in a general sense. And you just look at the James Cook situation, and you know what I'm saying? Like there's examples every year of players being mistreated in a sense, right? So it's not a secret in the NFL, and it's not a secret to us here, because we know what goes on in the building. So from that standpoint, I'm looking at it as, well, if he's influencing everything that much, then realistically, Bean never had a chance. Bean realistically never had a chance to truly be a GM, which
Spin,
is why.
Go back in your hole, Spin.
And really, oh my God,
go back in your hole.
Yeah,
Spin.
please go back in your hole. He trying. We right at the edge of this thing, and he trying hard to get somebody to rant. But realistically, when people say big baller Bean, that always bothered me, because I knew it wasn't Bean going out and finding these guys. It's Bean that gets the information from his scout team. He goes to Sean, and Sean looks at the list of guys and says, that one right there. And then Bean goes and makes the deals. It's really Bean being told what to do from Sean, right? That's how it is. I'm telling y'all, at some point somebody's gonna believe me, whether it's from the Tyler Dunn report or what Jim Monis has said that leads you to into those points of understanding, or what I'm saying. At some point, somebody's got to understand this is what it really is like inside the building. Sean is making these decisions. So if that's the case, if you simply pluck him out of there, Bean will actually have a chance to be a Howie Roseman and take into consideration all of the information that everybody's given him and make an informed decision at that point. I'm not saying all this to say that I want to keep Bean. I just don't know if I can agree 100% with Bean has been an issue and he needs to be hated. You know what I'm saying? Like under the title that he has is a very different set of responsibilities than most GMs in the NFL completely. You know what I'm saying? So just from somebody who knows what's actually going on the inside, I don't know if I could say that about Bean. Now, I will say this. If you get rid of Sean, you almost have to get rid of Bean too, because in a sense, they're locked at the hip. They came separate, but I think they should leave together. If you're really gonna do it. And if you look at what Terry Pegula has done in the past in terms of staffing changes, he almost always goes in the complete opposite direction of what he had in office the year before. Rex Ryan was a clown, silly dude, players coach. He went with Sean McDermott, very controlled, very discipline oriented, very culture dude, calm and stern. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with the Sabres, right? He went with a player's coach, a guy who was a teacher, a guy to hard-nosed Lindy Ruff. You know what I mean? We gonna run this ship the way it's supposed to be run. You know, everything that came with that, right? So I do think that if either one of those guys gets fingered as the issue, it's gonna be both gone.
I mean, I'd be fine with that. I don't have loyalty to either one of them. Or stupid, sound like bar hopping. Yeah, and I think you know, Oli came in. He said, "Yet you can defend Daboll as head coach and OC. Who would you pick as head coach between them, and keep GM out of it? Between Daboll and McDermott? I mean, does it really matter? At this point, does it really matter? Because if you're like somebody said earlier, if you're not winning a Super Bowl at this point, you're failing.
Right.
You fail whether you have Daboll, you fail whether you have McDermott. What do you want to watch?
Right.
Do you want to watch Malik Neighbors? Or do you want to watch Curtis Samuel?
Exactly.
Do you want to watch quarterbacks that bring diverse skill sets? Obviously, you're going to pick James Josh Allen. So let me just be quiet on that.
You want to look at Dexter? What's that defensive tackle's name? Dexter
Lawrence.
Dexter Lawrence. Yeah, you want to look at Dexter Lawrence, throw people aside and get to the quarterback, or you want to watch Ed Oliver get swallowed up?
Yeah, who was the guy next to him? Who was the guy? He tried. I'll give him that one. He tried. He did try that time.
Yeah.
I'll give him that one. The giggle. He just sniggled. He just sniggled. He didn't say anything. I'll give him that. But no, I mean,
hit the button, bro.
Why I gotta hit the button? All you did was snicker.
Okay, but you know that is.
He's like, hit the button, bro.
I said it the first time. You ain't hear me?
No, I didn't hear you say it the first time.
Which is fine.
I don't think anybody did.
No, which is fine because it gave me a chance to look up who the defensive tackles were in the team at the time. You had who do they have? Let's see. Who started last year for them?
For who?
For the Giants at defensive tackle. I'm thinking maybe it was 2 years ago. I'm thinking about with the big boy. Who was the big boy they had?
Oh, the one they got from the Jets?
I think so.
Leonard
Leonard
Williams.
Leonard Williams was there. Yeah, he was. Yeah. I mean, would I rather watch, Okereke? Would I rather watch Xavier McKinney? Would I rather watch Kayvon Thibodeau? Would I rather watch, those kind of guys?
Yeah. Brian Burns, yeah.
Alton, what's up, brother? But no, he had you back, Junie.
Yeah, a few people had your back.
Yeah, he had your back. Renaissance, see, they came out the woodwork. These guys ain't saying nothing all day. Y'all ain't slick.
No, Renaissance been in there. Renaissance only been in there for the pause moments,
right.
though.
He's like,
I appreciate it.
Shoot. Like, pause. I'm gonna go back to making my sandwich.
I appreciate it.
But yeah, no, I mean, it's really about what do you want to see?
Yeah.
Obviously, Daboll is a better offensive coordinator than head coach. I know Oli won't even agree with that, but. How we started when we talked about Lamar Jackson versus Josh Allen his last 2 years.
Yeah,
one's numbers were better when one got an offensive coordinator, the other one didn't. That's how close this is.
Right.
In
my mind, just real quick, I have to for me, the jury's still out on Daboll. Like he was forced to keep Daniel Jones. I need to see him because I've seen Daboll with Josh Allen. Right. Mm-hmm. So we know Daboll is running the offense in New York. I need to see Daboll have a good quarterback in New York, and just to see how his offense works and how the team performs when it has something like what he had here. You can't take a quarterback away from an offensive coordinator like that and then say the offensive coordinator is bad when he doesn't have the same level of success. The factors are different.
Yeah, and it was Ashawn Robinson or something.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
That's what I was talking about. So yeah, I mean that's. And look at the ages. I mean, you look at the age, look at the productivity, and tell me that's definitely not what you want. I mean, if you like, I'm not going to sit here and say that Sean McDermott built it wrong. I'm not going to do that. Do I believe it? I'm not going to say that. But all I'm going to say is, what do you want to look at? The construct of that team versus, and they had Joe Shane. Joe Shane asking his kids, what quarterback should I draft? Say less. It's just. What are the chances of the Giants getting the next Josh Allen before he gets fired for that comparison to happen? Are you talking about Daboll versus? Okay, you're talking about.
Wait, what did he say?
Sven said, "What are the chances that the Giants get the next Josh Allen before he gets fired for that comparison to happen?" He won't.
Well, that's what they're hoping Jackson Dart is.
Yeah.
to be perfectly honest.
No, yeah, for sure.
And I mean, in my humble opinion, I think if there's an offensive minded guy in the league that could bring it out of him, it's definitely Daboll. I mean, you look at what the offense that he designed around Josh Allen is probably a similar process for Daboll with Jackson Dart. He's going to build an offense around Jackson Dart, surrounded around what he does best.
But see, there it is. OLI, you did it. Stop it. It goes both ways. Thank you. Goes both ways.
What?
OLI said, stop it. It goes both ways. He benefits for Allen. So from Allen's what he's saying. I know that.
Yeah, that's what we've been saying.
It's symbiotic. That's what we're saying. We never said that Josh Allen owes all $330 million to Daboll. We never said Daboll was a quarterback whisperer in that regard. We never said. But who introduced Josh to Palmer? Who said I believe in you? Who said you're not going to talk to my quarterback, McDermott? You're going to talk to me, and I'm going to talk to him. That's what we're getting at. It has nothing to do with Daboll directly changing this man. I don't think anybody said he did. But what it is it's on or off, like you said, on or off. On, Daboll did it. Off, Daboll didn't do jack. You can't have that.
Right.
It's a middle. It's a middle area. You got to use a dimmer switch. What percentage did he do? We can't tell you.
There you go. Yep. Convergence of information. Steve says, if Shanahan gets fired, we could have a second shot at him. The Miami head coach would also make a great OC when he gets fired. Personally, I like Dan Lanning. Remember that name. I'm definitely gonna do some research on this guy.
University of Oregon.
Yeah, Oregon. I just looked that up just now because I'm like, who's Dan Lanning? You said this for the second time already.
You like Dan Lanning?
Yeah, I'm not opposed to that. You know, like part of the reason Joe Brady is here is because of how well he did in college. So it's not unheard of to think that a guy like that can come in and have that kind of success.
Yeah, Steve. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, Steve, I don't know if you watched the show the first year we did it, but we actually did it. Who is it then? If you don't want McDermott, I think we actually had titled the show "Then Who" or something like that.
Yeah.
And I surmise that we should be looking at college. That the next head coach, the next hot thing coming out of college, the next hot thing, as an offensive coordinator, somebody that was a head coach and now can be OC or whatever. I surmise that already. So I'm with you. I don't know about how much I love Dan Lanning, but I get it. That's where I'd be looking for the next. I don't want to retread. I want somebody with a young mind, innovative. Our offensive defensive coordinator is like 35, 36 years old.
Right.
Why is our head coach 53 years old? But these guys they want to move. They want to shake. That should be the culture. Those three guys should be lockstep.
Yep. Spin says it took Josh 3 years to become the player he is. Does Daboll have 3 years for that to happen with Dart?
Nope.
He'll have 2.
You think so?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. He'll have 2 because the GM is not going to fire him, right? It's more than likely going to be they both get fired because they both came in together.
That's something.
But here's the thing: the owner has now put the ball in Joe Shane and Brian Daboll's court and said, "Okay, you didn't want the guy I wanted to keep. We got rid of him, but you better win with this guy you want now, right?" Here's what we have to keep in mind for year 1 of this of Jackson Dart. He's coming into an offense that still doesn't have a great offensive line. Got a good left tackle, but he doesn't have a great offensive line. He's a mobile quarterback, so he is going to have to make plays his first year, right? The benefit he is going to have, though, is I like Tyrone Tracy as a running back, right? I think that running back and what they were able to do last year in that running game, they're going to have enough of a support system with the running game and the defense to be able to support the quarterback. On top of that, you got freaking Malik Neighbors. You add into that Jalen Hyatt. Come on. Stop me where this is going bad. You know what I'm saying? So I honestly believe that even if the Giants if they win 7 games, which I think is very realistic for that team with Jackson Dart there, and everything that they've built this year. If they win 7 games, they're coming back for another season, right? Because that's improvement over last year. They've gotten better. It's justifiable progress, right? Where I think it gets, hot for them the following year is if you're not in playoff contention, right? If you're in playoff contention and you win 9 games, right? But you've got Washington ahead of you and you have the Eagles ahead of you, right? And the Cowboys should be a little bit better this year too with that coming back healthy. And they got the receiver they just got from the Steelers.
Pickens.
Pickens, right? I was gonna say Pearson.
That works,
right? So they got Pickens to pair with their number one receiver, so they're going to be better this year, right? So they're in a tough division. So I think they get the benefit of the doubt with the young quarterback, and I think they also get the benefit of the doubt with the competition in the division, right? But that's why I think they don't immediately get kicked out if it's a 7-win season or something that this coming season.
I didn't realize that their offensive coordinator is Mike Kafka. He played for Northwestern for 4 years as a quarterback. So. Yep. So, I mean, Jackson Dart, I think it was Alton to say he doesn't see anything of Jackson Dart or Josh Allen and Jackson Dart. To say that, you have to tell me you've really watched Josh Allen at Wyoming. Because I said, and I mean, I'm not a scout. I wish I was. But I said when I watched it, this is mini Josh Allen. Scrambling, throwing on the run. When plays break down, the play is not over. He's got a rocket arm. Not a small guy. I do see the similarities there. So I mean, we have to see what he looks like in the pros, but at the same time, we got to see who he's working with. Is he going to get Jordan Palmer too? Is he going to work out with Josh Allen? Who knows? That's something that could happen. Right? Brian Daboll's like, yo, you Anthony Richardson, what about my guy? Can you work with Jackson Dart? And refer your guys. I don't know. You never know.
OLI says Joe Brady had Joe Burrow. Why aren't you saying that about his past? Why do I need to? He's got Josh Allen now, and everybody thinks he's going to get a head coaching job. Look, the reality is this: there are no offensive coordinators that get a head coaching job without having worked with a great quarterback. Name one. That's just the reality of it. There is no. You can't separate Daboll from Josh Allen in the same way that you can't separate Joe Brady from Joe Burrow. Mm-hmm. It just is what it is. But that doesn't mean that the offensive coordinator has to be less than the quarterback because the quarterback is great. And same thing for the quarterback versus the offensive coordinator. It's a symbiotic relationship. So if both guys have success, then they're both great. And that's how teams look at it. That's why these guys get the head coaching jobs. So, I mean, that's I think what plays into my argument about Daboll being a good offensive coordinator. How can you not think that way after what he did with Josh Allen?
Right.
You would essentially be saying that Daboll had nothing to do with Josh Allen's success. The offense, the stats he put up, that was all Josh. Josh was calling the plays. Josh designed the playbook. He did it all himself. Daboll had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
You'd have to say that.
And to Spence' point, 2 years from now, Eagles might be in a rebuild mode. I did 2028 while we were talking. I saw Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Lane Johnson, Devontae Smith, Jordan Mailata, Landon Dickerson, Saquon Barkley, Cam Jurgens, Zach Bond, Jake Elliott, Jahad Campbell, Dallas Goedert, Ty Robinson, Mac McWilliams, Smile Mondin. They're all still under contract in 2028. So, I mean, that's a hell of a foundation. Mm-hmm. And you're looking at right now with that, they have $287 million in cap space. Obviously, that's accounting for a drastic increase in cap. But even then, if you have lesser names with just that top line, and then you got to add in, Quinyon Mitchell and Dijon, you're doing all right. You're doing all right. And then you got to add in draft picks. I don't know. I mean, you could be very well doing true, but it's something to see.
Yeah. Man, OLI going hard on this one. He says Daboll has a career without Allen come again, and he wasn't an OC in New England or Bama. Look, even if that's the case, he got a head coaching job off of working with Josh Allen, and nobody thought that Josh Allen was going to be Josh Allen until he worked with Daboll and did all the work that he did under Daboll. Mm-hmm. It's again, I don't think there's any argument outside of this. There's no way to defeat the point without admitting that you're trying to do everything you can to find a way to defeat the point, just for the sake of defeating the point. There's no way that you can argue that without saying that first, because there is no hole in that. It's a symbiotic relationship. If you take one away, they both die.
Yeah, I mean, Daboll was the OC in Alabama, so that he was. If you look at it, I think it was 2017. Maybe.
He said, "Stay off Daboll." Jeez, bro, you hate him that bad? Like, tell me how badly you hate him. Like
he did that long thing.
Is that what it was? No, that was the entire Wikipedia.
Yes.
Brian Daboll in the Discord chat. He broke it down. I mean, it was good stuff. It was good, but that's if he hates Daboll that much, that is a very heavy hatred. That's deep.
Go ahead, Kevin.
I wanted to get to this one here, and then Walter's next comment too. Walter says, if we lose to the Chiefs a 5th time, it's really going to be interesting to hear the McD defenders explain how the 6th time will be different.
I don't know how they're going to do that, but I'd be around for it.
It'd definitely be an interesting conversation. Because we hear it now.
Who? I don't know. Anybody, like Kevin said.
Yeah. I mean, even with all that, after we lost at home, we for years we were saying, well, they never played here. Let's get them here. Let them come play a playoff game here. I bet you they don't win. And then they won. Oh, we had all those injuries, though. It was a 3-point game. How much did the injuries really matter?
They did.
I could understand if we got blown out, then you say, yeah, the injuries. Oh, okay, fine. I'll give you that.
Right.
It was a 3-point game.
Right.
And you had the ball in your hands with a chance to go win it the same way you did last year. So, like,
hold on. What? No, you go ahead. Tell you, make a point. This is funny to me.
What do you say? Yo, that's real. Spin, what I need you to do right now is I need you to say something to OLI to make him rant. I need to see a whole soliloquy of stats and data from OLI about how much he hates Daboll. I need you to work that out for me, my man. You're a hired gun now. Walter says, so we're only crediting Daboll for year 3 and not the 2 average years prior Daboll had. For year 3 of what, Josh? He says, I credit the QB going into his 3rd year and 2nd year starting with a wide receiver 1 more than the OC in year 3.
I credit Daboll with getting Josh from 52% completion percentage to 58% completion percentage.
Oh yeah,
increasing every year
69%.
To 69%. The boom happened, but
yeah,
I credit with him with not being stagnant while still requiring him to do more.
Yeah.
But still defending him. I credit Daboll. It goes far beyond the offense as it relates, because he fixed the most important thing. I shouldn't say that because that goes in OLI's point, but he nurtured the most important piece on the chess table. And
which
when
is what?
Josh,
okay.
Once you nurture that,
you
build around them,
right?
Which was the Steph came in and gave Josh the confidence, if you will. All those little weird, all that nonsense, and you saw a different swagger about him. You saw him playing loose. You saw him playing fun, playing free. Yep. You didn't see that 2019 deer in the headlights look.
Yeah.
You didn't see that.
Yeah.
You saw a man who was out there throwing the ball over the place. You saw a man, and I was like, is it that there's no fans? Because remember the year before that, I was like, oh, the moment's too big. There's too many eyes. This, that, and third. There's no fans. He's just going bonkers on people. Just insane video game numbers. And then you're like, okay, so we've arrived. We got Diggs, we got Josh, we got whoever, Singletary, we got these guys that are playing. All right.
Yeah.
And then you tear it down and you bring in Dorsey. And this is where the stark difference between Dorsey and Brady and Daboll are. Josh can't get to that level like he did with Dorsey.
Yep.
So if you credit him with nothing else, the credit is that Daboll said this is the system that we run that he's going to excel at.
Mm-hmm.
These are the players that he needs. I figured it out. I cracked the code. He left. They changed it to a 12. They changed it to.
Oh, but he throws too many interceptions in that offense.
Yeah. He also touchdowns too.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm going to say it because not being funny, but think about it. Jameis Winston threw 30 touchdowns and had 30 interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
30 touchdowns. What do you hear? Well, he had the same amount of interceptions, but they're like, yo, he had 30 touchdowns. Who saw this man doing this?
That's right.
And that was the overarching thing. Yeah. Those touchdowns will win you games when the interceptions will lose you sometime.
Right.
And I want the touchdowns to help me win games. So I don't mind it. Don't throw more interceptions than touchdowns when they're all pick sixes.
Yeah.
But the same excuse is built in. Well, it was more like a punt. No, I hate that. I hate when they say that. It was more like a punt. Stop making excuses. It was a bad throw sometimes.
Right.
But
it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Players mess up too. That's what they say.
Right.
So it's fine.
I love this point from Kev. I mean, even if the first part isn't true in OLI's mind, the second part has to be the reason we like Daboll, right? Mm-hmm. Kev says Daboll was a respected OC that could tell McDermott to go to hell. Yep. Even if you don't like Daboll as a person or as a human being or as a coach, the fact that he could tell Sean McDermott to go to hell, I loved him for that period. Like that made I'm a fan of you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Hard nosed, not afraid to won't back down. Give me that. Give me some of that.
Right. Hackett got 2 jobs from Aaron and never made him good. Yeah, but Hackett was never really good with Aaron.
Never good with him.
Nobody was talking about, oh, look at the job Hackett is doing with Aaron Rodgers.
Right. And only you realize where he went for that to have to occur. He went to the Jets.
Yep.
A team that was so quarterback star. Aaron said, if you don't bring him, I'm not coming. He said that.
Yeah.
They brought half of Green Bay with him. Now, what do you think Josh could do if he really wanted to? What do you think? $330 million? The Bills can't afford to say, go to hell. No, they can't. Josh like, okay, I'm taking the whole team with me. Because you're done.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. At least you're admitting it. He said, I knew that. I'm mad. I get it. I get it. And I don't want to antagonize you.
No, that's my guy. OLI knows. He knows better.
Yeah. Spin says, maybe I should recruit Adam. You should recruit OLI to help get. Why? I'm not going on any more rants. I'm abstaining from now on. You got to marry me first.
He's a born again.
You're right. I need a ring on my finger before I give a rant. Joey says Joe Brady had great receivers at LSU with Joe Burrow. That's why the offense was so good. I mean, look, Zach Taylor got a head coaching job off of being good at his job, and then he gets Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. It's a chicken egg conversation. Like it's semantics at the end of the day.
It's working now. That's all that matters.
That's right. That's the bottom line. Like he's still putting up 4,000 yards passing under this offensive-minded head coach, who was also a good offensive coordinator, by the way, that nobody was talking about until he got the Bengals job. Like nobody knew about Zach Taylor until he got that job, and then like, oh, this dude can actually coach offense.
No, he's all right. Okay,
right.
We'll keep him around.
You know, okay. I'll put it like this. How do you justify the issue with I just forgot his name.
Team
Ken Dorsey.
Okay.
How do you justify the change with Ken Dorsey, right? When he was using Brian Daboll's offense, Josh Allen was still performing extremely well. He was putting up the same numbers he was putting. 4,000 yards, almost 30 touchdowns with another, 7 to 10 rushing touchdowns, blah, blah, blah. Right? The numbers got slightly better with Dorsey as the offensive coordinator. The second Dorsey changed the offense.
Yep.
So what, you know what I'm saying? Like if we're really going that hard at offensive coordinators, and we're saying that this offensive coordinator is terrible because he was bad without Josh, but his offense still made Josh good. And when they changed it, Josh's numbers went down. I need that to make sense somehow.
Yeah.
I don't get that.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. If you really want to do it, do you think removing Daboll from New York, putting Josh and Brady over there would be better than putting Josh with Daboll?
Say that one more time.
If you remove Dorsey or remove Daboll, and you take Joe Brady and Josh Allen, put them in New York, do you think that the result would be better with those two together, or would it be moving Josh to New York with Daboll? That's the question to ask. Because this combination we have here is getting so much. Yeah. But if you move Josh back with, I guess you would call it lesser talent, even though Malik Neighbors is there somehow.
Couldn't be lesser talent. It couldn't be.
That's what I'm saying. I guess. But that goes to your point. You had Daniel Jones. Yeah. You had Daniel. Now you have Wilson, Jackson Dart, and what's the guy's name?
Oh yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, him.
I'm not saying it.
Oh no, that's not what I was thinking about. I wasn't thinking about him. I was thinking about the guy that lives on his parents' couch.
Who is that?
Danucci.
Yeah.
Him. I was thinking about him. I forgot about Jameis being there.
Got you.
But yeah, no, I'm challenging people. If you are so staunchly believing that Dorsey had no impact on what Josh did in those years, put him over there with Daboll and the team he has now, and we won't change anything else to either team. We won't change anything else. So I don't want to hear they don't have Bean, they don't have McDermott to oversee the draft. No, it's already done. Just move Josh.
Right.
Put Daboll with the same team they have now, and put Brady over here with this team. Offense is going to do what you said.
Right. Steve says, every year when McBean loses, you can count on our roster, other than 17, to be not good enough to start for the other team. Defense failing, offense, no playmaker in clutch time. Keep kicking door.
I hate it when Bean said that.
Yeah.
I think that's what I wanted to fire him when he said that. That had to be it. That's
we just gotta
probably
keep kicking at the door.
I like that. He's like, eventually gonna open. I'm like, what door are you kicking at?
Right.
Calm your nerves, dude. I'm 40 now.
Yeah.
I don't have much kicking to do.
Exactly.
I need that door to come down.
Exactly. And that's the part that I saw early on from this head coach and this GM. It was this mindset of, we have time. Why do you think you have time? Eventually your quarterback is going to get older and he's going to regress. And then what are you going to do? You're going to have to draft another quarterback, and there are no other Josh Allens out there. Even if you think Trey Lance or Anthony Richardson or whoever else, Jackson Dart, are the next coming of this guy, nobody has stepped up to that plate yet.
Yeah, and you have to understand, you can't lament in the history of Josh. That's what
Right.
Buffalo does, and it drives me nuts. The drought, Kyle Williams, and see that Roy and Roy, this is serious. I mean, that's why when people say Kyle Williams and Fred Jackson, it reminds me of the lamentation of somebody that didn't do anything here. They meant a lot to the team. They gave the team all they had, but they embodied something that we don't want to go back to. It's not about the drought. It's not about lovable losers. It's just, I can't get behind idolizing these guys that didn't get us to the promised land.
Right.
As much as I can't stand the bickering Bills in the early 90s, they got us to the promised land 4 times. So you got to give them something for that. I don't have to give them everything, but at least I got to recognize you did it 4 times in an era where teams weren't doing what you had the K gun, you had Thurman Thomas, you had this offensive line, you had these guys all over the place, and they did it. They didn't win, but they did it.
Yep.
We're still trying to do that.
Walter, what I don't smoke, but whatever you smoking or whatever you drinking, I do drink here and there, like occasionally, but like whatever it is, I want some, bro, because you clear today. You clear today, bro. Like you flowing on a heightened level today. He says, I hate to say it, but in some ways, I think Davis going off in the 13 seconds game was something that hurts us to this day because it lulled us into a false sense of security for 2 seasons at wide receiver 2.
Mm-hmm.
If that ain't the truest thing that's been said on this show.
Yep.
Like we talked about this. We talked about this probably the year after the 13 seconds game where we were seeing Gabe Davis run bad option routes.
Yep.
And not be able to get open when he was really counted upon.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like that whole time of not only wasting Gabe Davis's and Josh Allen's time, but wasting Stephon Diggs' time too. Because those were the best years of Stephon Diggs. That was his prime. He was a number 1, top 2, top 3 receiver in the league at that point. Mm-hmm. And he was on our team for our quarterback, for our offense.
Right.
And you give him Gabe Davis as the guy that's supposed to take attention enough off of him to be able to make the plays that he needs to make consistently without having to be double and triple covered all the time.
Right. Yep.
Part of the reason that the Bengals have the success they do is because they structure the offense to take the pressure off of their playmakers.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
That's where I think, and I'm sure I said on this show a couple of times, I don't care if Josh gets MVP. And what you just said is the reason why. If he didn't have to do that much, when he could do it, but he doesn't have to,
right?
He don't get an MVP, but we win.
Right. Exactly. I would take that all day.
Yeah. And Steve, I'm sorry, Spin. No, the bickering Bills were the 89 Super Bowl team.
Okay.
89. That whole 4-year run was the same team. So basically, Jim Kelly was blaming people for this. Thurman Thomas blamed somebody for that. Jim Kelly, Bruce Smith blamed somebody else for stuff. They were just blaming each other for stuff that their own failures. I can see if I can get a quote for you. But yeah, that was an 89 team that actually was the same team throughout all the Super Bowls, pretty much.
Yep. Joey, this is definitely confirmed. He did say that. Sean McDermott said he has his finger on every phase of the game that Buffalo plays, period. At that point, that's a little overbearing, and I think this is the problem.
100%.
Yeah. It's in the Tyler Dunn report that he's a micromanager.
Yep.
And again, this is part of the reason why I brought out, the difference that we see with Sean McDermott in his behavior this year of being soft and showing more of his softer personal side and talking calmly and doing appearances on podcasts and all these different things that he's doing to kind of ingratiate himself just a little bit more with the fan base and also, in my opinion, my theory, separate himself from Brandon Beane.
Yeah, I agree. I think with the podcast and all this, I think he's learning. He said it. I'm learning that way isn't the only way. I'm learning. The way he talks to his parents, it tells you this is who he is.
Mm-hmm.
He's not acting. He can't break it, but he's trying. And it's like when you're the popular kid, but you gotta get smart. Or when you're the smart kid, you gotta be popular. You are uncomfortable as ever because you're sitting there, you stiff.
Yeah.
And he's so super stiff because he's trying so hard to be cool, calm, and collected. He just can't do it. So that's why you see this weird dynamic with Sean McDermott. He's not being fake. He just is trying his hardest to fit in and assimilate with everybody, and it's just tough for him.
Yeah. But you know what though? And maybe this is being a little too hard, but to be perfectly honest, Andy Reid had to learn that lesson.
Yep.
Andy Reid was the same way in Philly, and it wasn't until he got fired that he became the coach he is now in KC to win multiple Super Bowls. Maybe Sean McDermott needs to go through the same thing. Mm-hmm. I respect his willingness to change and his willingness to adapt.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, if when you get into pressure situations, you automatically fall back to your default, and we don't see you do anything different at all, bro, at all.
Yeah.
I got to question that.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to do it during the regular season. You got a game after the next game, and you got another game after that one. Mm-hmm. So you have opportunities to take another swing.
Yep.
But in the playoffs, that's when we should really see you trying to be different. If you know everything that you've done a certain way doesn't work, I'm sorry. I can't keep giving you chances if you're going to keep kicking the door the same way. Maybe try and pick the lock, or maybe go get a sledgehammer or some C4, right? Go get a torch and try to burn the door to something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
They just kicking.
Right. Just steady kicking.
Williams is on fire.
Oh my gosh. But you listen, there is one thing that has definitely been kicking tonight.
Well, yeah. I mean,
and it is in my cup.
That kicked you on oil. I kicked this in. Spin tried to kick us in.
Yeah.
But you know what? If Spin would have bought some of that Reed's tea, he might have won. Probably. Had he bought that Reed's tea, he would have won. Why, Spin? Because not only does it make you resilient, not only does it come with one part freshness, one part deliciousness, 2 part healthiness, it comes with resilience of a young Junie. What? Jameis Winston.
Shut up. Oh, why?
That's what you can expect with their 4 ingredients.
Sitting there trying to yell at Rich for saying McDermott for president, and here we go eating dubs in the back room.
Eating dubs in the back room.
Like dubs in the car. I'm not trying to hear it.
I don't even drink tea, but guess what? I just drank some out of this cup right here, and it wasn't even Long Island style. That's how good it is. What are you doing? Head on over to Reed's. Get yourself a supply by the case or individuals. What would you do if you did not get the case? You have an individual, and you still be thirsty. Trust me. See for yourself. Reed's Tea. Click the link in the description below. Use the code PPP. Let them know who sent you.
It's the all natural lemon juice that's in it. Okay, so let's
my cup has kick.
I did not load up because I was so busy drinking this tea.
My cup has kick.
Tea time. Spin. Dang it, Oil Eyes here, so now I gotta speed this up. Oh my gosh.
He's like, pay me my money.
This is gonna be bad. Oh,
this is gonna be good.
All right. No, shut up, Judy.
Man, watch out for you dubs in your face.
Oh, you know what? You got all kinds of confidence now that you've been jumping on this Jameis Winston train. You about to had enough of that.
Listen, it's been minutes since folks said famous Jameis, because you already know.
Oh my God.
We know we throw these dubs in the air like,
Here we go. Oh,
we're starting up, y'all.
No. Are you serious?
Uh-oh.
What?
Oh, well.
Wow. I cannot believe that.
Go with it.
Key,
I cannot believe that.
Go with it.
Key, we got more seconds to talk about famous Jameis.
No.
Hurry up.
No. Oh, my God. This is going to close us out. No, we can't even. Wow. We are really stuck like this.
Close it out. Do your thing. Do your final.
Unbelievable. All right. Look, and it's not even going to repeat either. I can't touch
anything
hurry on
up.
this joint.
Oh, man, you got to hurry up.
You gotta crazy. All right. Look, this has been the Post Podium Podcast. No, listen. I'm going to just keep going. I don't care. So we have no music now for our closeout. This is ridiculous. Anyway, look, the new Madden content is out for our members. Please, if you haven't done so, just, you know what? Just if you know somebody in the chat, just ask them. Just ask them about our Discord chat. Ask them about the Madden content. Like, this inner circle family that we've created, this community within a community is constantly building. It is constantly growing tighter and more tightly knit. And I love it. I love it. I'm here for all of that because it's a platform with which we can just be people who love the Bills, who love football, but can talk about a bunch of other stuff too on top of that, right? So if you have not checked that out yet, go to our YouTube channel. There's a join button right there. It'll tell you everything that you get with the membership when you sign up. The membership is only $1.99. It's $2 a month. I tried to get it to 99 cents. YouTube doesn't let you go that low, right? If that's a bit much for you, completely understand with the economy that we're in, but there is a free way that you can support the channel if you would really like to do that. And you can just go to our YouTube channel and subscribe, right? We got 1,134 people watching us right now. And
give me 5. Give me 5 new people.
We haven't gotten a new subscriber in I don't know how long.
Yeah, give me 5 new people.
Right.
Y'all watching for free? Hit the button for free.
We've done all this work for you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm playing. But in all seriousness, though, we do appreciate everybody that's been watching with us, and we have a great time doing this. We'd love to be able to do much more with the show and much more, on a daily basis with what we do here at the studio. So, the closer we get to our goals, the closer we get to being able to do that and offer bigger and better things. With that being said, our producer Junie's got his own podcast, Basketball Truth and Knowledge. You might have seen him respond in the chat under Basketball Truth and Knowledge. That's him. He also has a gaming channel on YouTube and Twitch. He is Babyface Assassin 21. So if you like watching video gameplay, he's streaming darn near every day, pretty much, right?
Yeah, every day.
Yeah. So, and there's all types of games. It's not just the same game, whatever. And he takes requests. If there's a certain game that you want to see him play or get his reaction to, he's down for that too. Just let him know. So with that being said, we got to jump out of here because we got some more content to shoot before we leave the studio. We got some post preseason press conferences to knock out for the Madden content here, which I think are going to be very interesting and very fun to watch.
There you go.
So this has been the Post Podium Podcast, home of the All Truth, No Sodium Takes. I have been your co-host, Aramis.
It's 40 Keys.
And Key, do with me. Put them up.
Oh my God.
There's been an A producer and a builder. We still throwing them up.
Peace out, y'all. So done. Just close out our